Peace, 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 peace. Peace, love, and light to all American Aborigines. This is your brother, Original Power. Hopefully, everybody's enjoying their grand rising. Make sure you hit that like button as you come in. Share the live stream. Hey, man, we're going to get into a nice topic today, man. So make sure you share the live stream, hit that like button, and support the channel.
Whatever it takes. Hollywood.
Hey, lazy, this shit is crazy.
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going? These raps is like some scripture to me, yeah, they different for me. See my dog pass away, that shit get vivid for me. Praying on my downfall, I won't fall, yeah. Before I jump that porch, we learn how to crawl, yeah. I rose grew from the concrete. The shit y'all boys cap about beyond me. I'm a born G. I be kicking out this flame, bitch, like Bruce Lee. I know they speak my name in vain, but I can't worry about it. All this pain that's in my songs, it got me hurting about it. How my niggas doubt me like it's no birdie from me. They talking dollars and baguettes, we still behind the trench. Broad daylight, shooting handguns from behind the fence. I'm with some killers that's gonna hit bout it. In a spot that you got, you might get blicked out and rerouted. How y'all said that y'all believe in me? How y'all said that y'all believed in me? How y'all said, what the fuck is going on? 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 These raps are like a scripture to me, yeah, they different for me. See my dog pass away, that shit get vivid for me. Praying on my downfall, I won't fall, yeah. Before I jump that porch, we learn how to crawl, yeah. These raps is like some scripture to me, yeah, they different for me. See my dog pass away, that shit get vivid for me. Praying on my downfall, I won't fall, yeah. Before I jump that porch, we learn how to crawl, yeah. What the fuck been going on? How y'all brothers, but y'all moving on? I thought them bonds were strong. Look, tomorrow, hit that promise, your dog could be gone. You can't prove me wrong. I can't put another soldier name inside a song. In them trenches, I was back then. Rubber grip the Mac 10. Foundation solid, I got traction. If I don't do it, who taking action? I kill it with passion. I remember back when niggas standing tall for that bottle. That was back when niggas stayed solid and we caught them when they crept in. Ain't want nothing moving on that block till we stepped in. Niggas getting stepped on as soon as niggas caught wind. These raps is like some scripture to me, yeah, they different for me. See my dog pass away, that shit get vivid for me. Praying on my downfall, I won't fall, yeah. Before I jump that porch, we learn how to crawl, yeah. These raps is like some scripture to me, yeah, they different for me. See my dog pass away, that shit get vivid for me. Praying on my downfall, I won't fall, yeah. Before I jump that porch, we learn how to crawl, yeah.
Shout out to all my American Aborigines. Shout out to all the American Indians. Shout out to all the FBAs. This is a nice fire show for you guys today, man. Let's get right into some of this heat, man. Let's up some fire emoji, man.
Whatever it takes. It's heli. I seek no rewards. Look. Pressures of being great. I'm tatted with scars. I feel the look from their eyes. I know they gazing from far. Overcoming my fears. I never wanted this life. Been giving them pain. Know my soul been paying the price. Give fuck about the ice. Really, I just give on my life. Been thinking too much. Inside my head, I'm living it twice. Been feeling convicted. Every time I step on this mic, my art form, it come from God. This ain't no gimmick, my nigga, the vision really is vivid. See my canvas and shiver. Every time I'm here to deliver. My ex bitch, she ain't believing. Now she crying me rivers. She got a heavy heart, but ain't no time for reminiscing. Guard my energy, won't turn me to a victim. Believe in my potential, fuck what you projecting. I make you see my words, like this is a projection. I pray to God that all my soul, yes, I need some protection. Ain't busted down my watch, ain't busted down my chains. Got everything to lose, got everything to gain. Yeah, my soul tied to this shit. And I told the opposition that I'll die for this shit. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you. It's you versus you. In competition with myself, the hardest battle of all. And when you look inside that mirror, are you seeing your flaws? I became a man, and my dad was never involved. But all these people trying to be the same, it's hard to evolve. Gave birth to a poet. Really, I just write what I saw. And all them days alone writing, it was just me and God trying to find my purpose. I needed a sign. Many days I was lost, I was trapped in a bind. The type of fear that I felt, you can feel in your spine. It's me versus me. I knew that I was different from niggas. I talk my shit, and really I be shitting on niggas. I'm staying humble. Yeah, I'm staying humble. Ain't busted down my watch, ain't busted down my change. Got everything to lose, got everything to gain. Yeah, my soul tied to this shit. And I told the opposition that I'll die for this shit. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you.
Don't let this fucking place define you.
It's you versus you.
At the end of the day, you gotta look at it. Who are
It's you versus you.
What do you do this for? They're always gonna tell you what you're supposed to do, but at the end of the day, walking God's plan.
Whatever it takes. Exactly.
Right, this shit crazy.
Feel nothing at all. Put my pain and don't feel nothing at all. Yeah. Yeah, for my pain and don't feel nothing at all. For these niggas now, ain't nothing but God. I had to move around with nothing but frauds. I tried to bring the team together, get my vision involved. I gave a plan, but niggas scrambled the time to pick up that call. We can't get 1,500 in a 6-week span. Time to pay up, everybody goes, I be damn. I should've seen it. All I got is Rain, Slim, Tim, you know it's Teach. I got Tay and I got Leaf. I got Deja and Salih. I got Foreign, they got Feet. They say your name, that's cause you preach. Them niggas folded under heat. No umbrella, let them shots rain down. You believe the dream to stand up, if not lay down. Let it rain down. You my nigga, then just say it. You ain't got it, then just say it. Let it rain down. Yeah, my nigga, then just say it. Let it rain down. Let it rain down.
Right, this shit crazy.
Yeah. We gotta weather the storm. If you don't understand, get better informed. I'm from the trench, and my trust really weathered and torn. With my niggas from the sandbox, trying to put this shit on top some water, but we playing live. We all want the same shit, but can't get on the same page. How bad do y'all really want it? Niggas just be saying things, replacing with y'all lives now. Everything that I pipe down. Yeah, I was chilling for a minute, but I'm live now. Niggas talking about the past, come get with me right now. Come and really see my grind. Come and see me live now. I'm live now. I'm live now. Come and see me live now. Ain't no umbrella, let them shots rain down. You believe the dream, then stand up, if not lay down. Let it rain down. My nigga, then just say it. You ain't got it, then just say it. Let it rain down. Yeah. Ain't no umbrella, let them shots rain down. You believe the dream, then stand up, if not lay down. Let it rain down. If you my nigga, then just say it. If you ain't got it, then just say it. Let it rain down. Let it rain down. Yeah.
My nigga, did you say it? You my brother, did you say it?
Let it rain down.
Let it rain down.
How y'all like this new heavyweight? My brother heavyweight. Like what?
Right, this shit crazy.
Shout out to everybody in the building. Fire mode if y'all can hear me loud and clear. You know how y'all think about that new heavyweight song, man? We're gonna get right into another jammy jam, and y'all know the vibes, man. It's the last one. Let's get right into it.
Now we on the beach with the banger.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. They won't say my name, but they put it in a mention. Too much sneak dissing, yeah, we need an intervention. Right before the fall, I swear my niggas, they won't listen. Right before the fall, you took them pills, you got addicted. Right before the fall, you run your mouth, you turn to dentist. Free my niggas in the cage, know that shit get lonely. You was with me from the start, but you did me phony. Look my bitch right in the eyes, tell her she my only. Poppin' shit on Instagram, they don't even know me. Had to turn my savage up to turn me to the old me. Killers moving silent, so I gotta kill them softly. Lie better, little baby, but lie better. You playing the other side on God out. Trendsetter, no talking, I did better. They watching my moves, flying my moves. I did let up, I kept it aside. Niggas get shifty, I did something, I'm moving around. Had to get to it, this bread, something they want me to drown. Remember they told me I was nothing, I've been through some things. On God, baby, I can't front it. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. They won't say my name, but they put it in a mention. Too much sneak dissing, yeah, we need an intervention. Right before the fall, I swear my niggas, they won't listen. Right before the fall, you took them pills, you got addicted. Right before the fall, you run your mouth, you turn to dentist. Free my niggas in the cage, know that shit get lonely. You was with me from the start, but you did me phony. Look my bitch right in the eyes, tell her she my only. Poppin' shit on Instagram, they don't even know me. Had to turn my savage up to turn me to the old me. Killers moving silent, so I gotta kill them softly. Do better, you said that you do better. These niggas playing at 50, I really got moved better. I got these on my block, I can't play round. I position on my life, I can't play round. We gon' get it back in blood if they stay round. Know them niggas off the drugs, they gon' lay down. I was love, you put me right in the middle. That niggas that screaming gang and niggas that wanna kill you. They got feelings from the past, pay attention. They only sending shots cause these niggas want attention. Won't be no RIP, heli in the mention. Put threats on my name, make me turn them to a pension. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. They won't say my name, but they put it in a mention. Too much sneak dissing, yeah, we need an intervention. Right before the fall, I swear my niggas, they won't listen. Right before the fall, you took them pills, you got addicted. Right before the fall, you run your mouth, you turn to dentist. Free my niggas in the cage, know that shit get lonely. You was with me from the start, but you did me phony. Look my bitch right in the eyes, tell her she my only. Poppin' shit on Instagram, they don't even know me. Had to turn my savage up to turn me to the old me. Killers moving silent, so I gotta kill them softly.
Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Love and light to all the American Aborigines, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. I want to make sure everybody can hear me clear. Seems like the audio is fantastic on my end. Drop a fire emoji if it's cool on your guys' end. I want to say peace and blessings, man. All love. All love. Goddamn. Good to see my family and cousins in here this grand rising. Let me get my water together. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Also, man, I want to give a special shout out to everybody that's tuning in that's not able to comment. So I want to say shout out to you guys. I want to give a big, big shout out to you guys. Make sure you be safe as you move around or traveling or on your daily commute, or if you're at work. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you can enjoy this live stream. Shout out to everybody else that took their time out in the chat. They got in the comment section to get active, to let me know that they in here. I appreciate you guys as well. I'm going to take my time out to shout you guys out as well. Before I do that, I'm going to need everybody to hit that like button. We got 71 brothers and sisters in here. Can we get all 71 of you guys to hit that like button? We appreciate that. Shout out to Sagittarius Jones, Rain Alexander, and shout out to everybody that's watching me on Twitch, the brothers and sisters that's watching on Twitter right now. If y'all don't want to stay on the Twitch or the Twitter platform, we are over here live streaming and screen sharing on the YouTube. So that's Aboriginal Power on YouTube. Make sure y'all come on over here. Shout out to Rain Alexander. Shout out to T1 Productions, Day Senior, Sagittarius Drones, Truth Over Everything, Chief Jonesy, Yanetta Ya in the building, Amaruki, Eastside 1415 in the building, Mountain City Mellow, Craig Lloyd. Shout out to Matthew Simmons, Kimbo Twice, A Dots, V Dots, Thinking Space, Elk Kepra. Shout out to you. The Light Show. Shout out to the Light Show. Shout out to everybody in the building. I believe that's it for everybody in the building. Shout out to Chief Serpentine Guy, El Bora, my boy Wood. Shout out to my boy Wood in the building. My boy Wood in the building. So shout out to everybody that's in here. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer, man. I do want to get into some things, man, about this whole MLK, Martin Luther King story. we all heard a lot about Martin Luther King. We done heard a lot about Martin Luther King when it comes to some of the greatest Americans on record. When it comes to the top 10 people on record, you got Ronald Reagan at number 1, number 2, Abraham Lincoln, and number 3, Martin Luther King. Now we gotta ask ourselves: was Martin Luther King always for the people? I'm not going to make any assumptions. I'm going to let you guys gather your own thoughts as we go through a little bit of video and audio. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got Baba Rashawn live and TV in the building. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Baba Rashawn TV, man. We're going to get right into it right now, man. Let's get right into it. Let's go.
The first US president, George Washington. The top 10 was an eclectic mix, but in 2011, his popularity was confirmed again when 94% of Americans said they held a favorable view of MLK. The same year, a memorial to King was erected just off the National Mall in Washington, D.C. He's become the symbol of peace on motivational posters, t-shirts, fridge magnets, a bobblehead. Politicians on the left and right invoke his memory. Even Trump and Obama agree on MLK.
A man who stirred our conscience. His words and his vision only grow stronger through time.
But it wasn't always like this. In 1966, following some of his most significant civil rights victories, nearly 2/3 of Americans disapproved of MLK. So how did we get from this to this? In order for King to become a hero loved by nearly all Americans, his transformative...
I ain't even gonna lie, that statue, this do not look like, I don't know who the hell that look like. I don't feel like not a coincidence.
In order for King, loved by nearly all Americans, his transformative politics and criticisms of the country's inequalities have been cherry-picked, leaving behind a diminished legacy that ignores the real visionary who led a movement. Whenever the United States is hit by protests, one thing always happens. King's name, quotes, and message will be across social media and on TV.
Dr. King persevered.
This is not in the spirit of Martin Luther King.
I just want to leave you with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr.
But that would have surprised King, because he struggled throughout his life to get Americans to back nonviolent action and his ideas. Civil rights protests were just unpopular.
The National Guard of Illinois was called out to protect the marchers from jeering angry whites.
Take the Freedom Rides in 1961. Only 24% of Americans supported the campaign to desegregate public transport. And the famous March on Washington in 1963, before it took place, only 22% of Americans were in favor of it. And it wasn't just that many Americans thought the civil rights movement was moving too quickly. Any acts of violence at the protests, like objects being thrown at police in Birmingham in 1963, were used to discredit Martin Luther King and the wider movement.
But surely we have had a fair amount of violence this year already.
I do not approve of violence, whether it is perpetrated by racists or whether it's perpetrated by Negroes.
But violence did play a crucial role in King's eventual success. After being arrested in Birmingham, he wrote a letter for himself. In it, he explained how violent direct detention, a situation so crisis-packed that those who refused to engage with the African American community were forced to confront the issue at hand. Basically, he was saying that peaceful protest doesn't work alone. It needs drama, a crisis, to make change happen. The strategy worked best when peaceful direct action was confronted by brutal state violence, most famously in 1965, helped by a decision by network television. At 9:30 p.m. that night, as 50 million Americans were watching ABC's broadcast of Judgment at Nuremberg, a film about Nazi war crimes,
where were we when Hitler began shrieking his hate and Reichstag?
The network decided to cut to a news bulletin showing dramatic footage from the protest in Alabama that day. Lines of armed riot police charging peaceful men and women at the beginning of their march from Selma to Montgomery. Although King had helped organize the event, he wasn't there when it happened. Nonetheless, it shifted the perception of him and the civil rights movement. Oh, so great. I guess you win the bookcase round then.
if there's such a battle.
Eddie Glaude's a professor of American history, and he told me about the power of that moment.
They understood the cash value of spectacle. that could then generate the confrontation with the reality of brutal oppression, right? It has this moral implication, right? My suffering will then speak to you in a particular sort of way.
After Selma, 48% of Americans favored civil rights groups. That's double the number who supported the Freedom Riders just 4 years earlier. And King's popularity during his lifetime reached its height in May that year. The Selma clashes had changed the conversation in the country. And a week later, President Lyndon B. Johnson said he would pass voting rights legislation.
The real hero of this struggle is the American Negro. His actions and protests have awakened the conscience of this nation.
Producers, if you struggle finding sounds and samples that work for you, then you have to check out this.
This struggle is the American Negro. His actual of this struggle is the American Negro. His actions and protests have awakened the conscience of this nation.
Even then, they weren't calling you a black. Even then, they weren't calling you an African. Pay attention.
Legislation.
The real hero of the struggle is the American Negro.
That was Barr. He said the only hero is the American Negro. Let me run that back. That nigga dropped some bars real quick. That nigga said the only hero is the American Negro. Talk that shit.
The American Negro. He's the hero of this struggle.
Johnson
run it back
said
one
he
more
would
time.
pass voting rights legislation.
The real hero of this struggle is the American Negro. His actions and protests have awakened the conscience of this nation.
King wasn't just about nonviolent protest. He came with a message, and it was broader than just civil rights. It was about economic empowerment and a restructuring of society. A lot of what King was demanding were economic changes that groups in the US are still fighting for today.
Until every situation that keeps us down at the bottom of the economic ladder is changed, we are ready to march on ballot boxes. Yeah.
The full title of the famous 1963 March on Washington?
We ready to march. And I believe we went through different phases with Martin Luther King. I believe he went through different perspectives. I believe he went through different ideologies. I believe he had different understandings. I believe he thought one way earlier in his time that transgressed to a different thought pattern. And it was illustrated in some of his speeches and lectures. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. We're going to get to this. We're going to break this down. I need everybody to drop a fire emoji in the chat. Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
On ballot boxes. Yeah.
The full title of the famous 1963 March on Washington was the March on Washington for Jobs. And look at the demands that were being made. To place all workers in meaningful and well-paid jobs, a national minimum wage. King went on to co-found the Poor People's Campaign in 1967, and that group went even further. They demanded sweeping economic reform, including measures for low-income housing, full employment, and even a guaranteed annual income. When King was assassinated that year in Memphis, he was actually in the city to support a strike by sanitation workers, not a civil rights issue. And despite a backlash from much of the US public, he repeatedly demanded an end to the Vietnam War throughout the 1960s. Eddie thinks MLK's failures to convince Americans to reform tell us just as much about the US as his victories do.
In order for Dr. King to be inducted into the pantheon of American civil religion, you have to kind of lop off the democratic socialist King. From 54 to 63, King is making an argument, a moral argument. But as we get into his later years, we see that King recognized that passing the Civil Rights Act of 64 and 65 weren't sufficient. They killed King twice by lopping off, ending his career in 63, and both in some ways ignoring the more radical vision that he put forward at the end of his life.
In recent years, it hasn't been hard to find examples of US politicians and international media attacking groups pushing for radical change in civil rights and economics.
We're going to defeat the radical socialists,
far left extremist groups.
Black Lives Matter
is a far-left Marxist organization.
Go back to King's time, and the attacks against him look very similar.
Have communists infiltrated the movement?
I certainly don't think so, Mr. Spivak, and I would like to vigorously deny that.
King was often portrayed as a communist, an anti-American revolutionary, threatening the US way of life. Even the FBI thought King might be a communist and wiretapped him throughout the 1960s. A former member of the Bureau told a Senate Select Committee in 1975 that King was the target of an intensive campaign by the FBI to neutralize him, and that in this fight against King, no holds were barred, including delving into MLK's private life in order to discredit him, revelations which have caused controversy in recent years.
Guess I look all right.
This is Jason Sokol. He's written a lot about rights. His recent book deals with King's legacy.
Majority of white Americans really loathed King. He was thought of as a rabble-rouser, an agitator. He was denounced as unpatriotic because he criticized the waging of the Vietnam War. Thought of as a communist.
And how did King respond to all of that?
He thought the rest of the country might come around, basically. He received a rude awakening. I mean, he went to Chicago in 1966. He was pelted with stones in a park by white people. I think in a way that shocked him, prompted him to sort of think bigger in this indictment of the nation as a whole.
When you think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., chances are you think about this.
I have a dream.
One of the defining speeches of the 20th century.
My 4 little children.
We all remember the parts about judging people by the content of the character, of all men being equal, of letting freedom ring.
And so millions of white Americans took that to mean that King was for colorblindness and that he wouldn't, want any sort of special program for African Americans, which was absurd.
Do you think that we've forgotten about important parts of that speech?
He talks about, quote, the unspeakable injustice of police brutality, right there. Talks about the whirlwinds of revolt that would shake the nation if justice didn't come soon.
At Harlem's Riverside Church in 1967, King showed America how far his thinking had moved in a speech called Beyond Vietnam. In it, he attacks broken promises made by the US government, the failure to protect the poorest, and for the unrelenting focus on war and military spending.
I am convinced that if we are to get on the right side of the world revolution, we as a nation must undergo a radical revolution of values.
Following this speech, King received widespread criticism. He was called a hindrance to the civil rights cause, told that his usefulness was running out, and that he was making an error by some of the country's leading newspapers. So what was going through King's head in those final years?
King is confronting in the last days the ugliness of the country. He doesn't die with the heart of a 60-plus-year-old man for nothing. He suffered from profound depression because the nation betrayed him, betrayed us again. And he knew it. He knew it.
After his death, securing King's legacy meant finding the right version of his story for America. Claiborne Carlson was chosen by Dr. King's wife Coretta to be in charge of his papers at Stanford University. And he also led the eventually successful campaign to have King's birthday declared a national holiday.
I recognized that you had to identify him with his speech at the March on Washington, not the speech he gave condemning the war in Vietnam. So you had to emphasize those parts of Martin Luther King that most white people are now willing to accept, even though at the time, probably if the Civil Rights Bill had come up for a vote, I don't think it would have passed.
So Eddie, how should we remember King?
Oh, I want us to remember the entire King. The young man and the young preacher in Montgomery to the person who's murdered in Memphis. It's a story of America. It gives us a sense of the darkness of the country, an example of what it means to struggle.
I'm gonna stop it right here at this particular point because I kind of want to talk about some of the highlighted factors of his his death, man, I want to kind of talk about Martin Luther King. They talk, you know, he was for our people, but I think that was towards the later end, and I believe that's why he was ultimately killed. And they shot him on that balcony in Memphis. He didn't die on that balcony in Memphis. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't die on that balcony in Memphis, you guys. He was shot and was severely wounded, but had fighting chance to live. He didn't die on that balcony. He died in the hospital under the hands of a nurse. Allegedly, he was suffocated. And I believe that's because he got down with these Rothschilds. A lot of our army veterans and a lot of people that was fighting for this country was under the Rockefeller and Rothschild shield. You understand me? So I think he thought that he could make a plan and an agreement that they failed, just like how they made agreements and treaties and they failed. I believe we try to do these new ways things that we used to always done in a new way, and it failed. And once he understood that who we truly are, us being exiled in our own land, that's one of his greatest quotes. I'm going to DC to get the check. That's another one of my favorite greatest Martin Luther King. And these mean things. Being exiled in your own land mean that we didn't come over here in chains. To demand a check must means that you're obviously owed. So I believe these were some of the reasons that maybe he was assassinated. Matter of fact, let's get into some of the conversation of him allegedly not dying on that balcony. Let's go.
So like I said, I spoke to Dr. Martin Luther King was actually killed.
Wow. He wasn't killed from the bullet that hit him on the balcony. He was taken to the St. Joseph's Hospital, and he was killed in the emergency room of St. Joseph's Hospital by the chief of neurosurgery, Dr. Breen Bland, who came in when they were all working on him in the emergency room, and he said, "Get out of here, let that die." And as they moved out of the room, the last one out was a surgical nurse, Lula Mae Shelby. And when she heard them gathering up spit in their lungs to spit on Martin's body lying on a bed there, then she saw Dr. Bland take the catheters out of Martin's body and take the pillow from under his head and put it over his face and suffocate him. And that moved the emergency room, and he said, into the St. Joseph's Hospital, and he was killed in the emergency room of St. Joseph's Hospital by the chief of neurosurgery, Dr. Breen Bland, who came in when they were all working on him in the emergency room, and he said, "Get out of here, let that die." And as they moved out of the room, the last one out was a surgical nurse, Lula Mae Shelby. And when she heard them gathering up spit in their lungs to spit on Martin's body,
She said that was gathering up spit to spit on his body, yo. We're running back for those that are just coming in. This is the guy telling how Martin Luther King actually died in that hospital in Memphis the day he was shot on the balcony. Let's listen to it.
He wasn't killed from the bullet that hit him on the balcony. He was taken to the St. Joseph's Hospital, and he was killed in the emergency room of St. Joseph's Hospital by the chief of neurosurgery, Dr. Breen Bland, who came in when they were all working on him in the emergency room, and he said, "Get out of here, let that die." And as they moved out of the room, the last one out was a surgical nurse, Lula Mae Shelby. And when she heard them gathering up spit in their lungs to spit on Martin's body lying on a bed there, then she saw Dr. Bland take the catheters out of Martin's body and take the pillow from under his head and put it over his face and suffocate him. And that's how Martin King died. That's how he was really assassinated. Now, he might have died anyway from the bullet wounds, but he didn't. He was still alive and still breathing. The chief neurosurgeon, he intervened and he made sure that death would result.
Wow. Right? My jaw was on the floor. Now, Dr. Pepper knows this because the son of the nurse, Lula Mae Shelby, who died, but before she died, told her family, the son of this nurse told Dr. Pepper under oath. And when Dr. Pepper confronted a member of the Dixie Mafia, he said, yes, this happened. And actually that the chief of surgery was their family doctor. And that 3 weeks before the assassination, he visited them and said, hey, if the bullet doesn't kill him, make sure he goes to St. Joseph's because we will make sure that he dies. Now, let's talk about this case, okay? This was the civil suit in 1999 where Pepper represented the King family, and that really made the family feel like they had closure, and like I said, it was the only trial ever held. The Memphis jury in this case decided that local governments were liable for King's death, and that this was a real conspiracy between the U.S. military, the Memphis PD, and Dixie Mafia, these crime figures in Memphis, Tennessee.
This is just for the audience.
Right.
This is a civil case that was brought, much like the OJ case.
Right.
Where they couldn't find him guilty here, but finally when a civil jury heard it, they came out with a
It was the only trial, yes. And there was 30 days of trial and over 70 witnesses were heard. And Pepper told me earlier today that it took the jury less than an hour to decide after these 30 days
that this was a true conspiracy.
Correct.
Where others may have been involved.
Correct.
Other than the person who was accused.
And that James Earl Ray was the fall man and that he was unwittingly, unknowingly part of this conspiracy. And the real shooter, I gotta say this, even though we can't get to the whole story, was Frank Strouser. He was a Memphis police officer, the best shot in the Memphis PD. And
so we also heard this story before as well. We heard it told by Dick Gregory. We've heard it told by a few different people. Yeah, Dr. Pepper is the guy who allegedly told us that Martin Luther King was killed in that hospital. But there's a darker side to this whole Martin Luther King story. A lot of y'all guys are already hip to him being accused of being a sellout. So let's get to some of that conversation.
Show you guys something real quick, right?
Let's go, man. Shout out to everybody.
So this is the the Voting Rights Act of 1968, right? Okay. So we're going to scroll down. This is on the website. This is Stanford's education website, stanford.edu. So we're going to start here. On 6 August 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act into law, calling the day a triumph for freedom as huge as any victory that has ever been won on any battlefield. Johnson remarks in the Capitol Rotunda. The law came 7 months after Martin Luther King launched a Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, campaign based in Selma, Alabama, with the aim of pressuring Congress to pass such legislation. Now, why would MLK want Congress to pass legislation where in the year, look, I'm about to show y'all, in the year 1870, this is way before 1965. This is black suffrage. So this is how you know that you were not black. If in the 1870s, because most of us Indians are sharing our records, just a little bit of our records, showing y'all like, hey nigga, wake up. We are Indians, we not black. But this is Amendment 15, black suffrage. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. This is the year 1870. This, if you were so-called black, this would apply to you, right? But you weren't black. So what the fuck was MLK doing? See, MLK knew what he was doing, and I'm gonna go as far to say this. I know it's gonna be hurtful for some of y'all to believe. MLK was a traitor. He was a traitor. He was a trickster. Yeah. So look, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to continue reading this. This is the second paragraph. In Selma, King wrote, "We see a classic pattern of disenfranchisement typical of the southern Black Belt areas where Negroes are in a majority." Let's read that again. Where Negroes are in the majority.
So listen, a lot of people had these same opinions about him. You got Jim Brown saying things about him, Judge Joe Brown saying things about him. You even have Martin Luther King giving one of his, I mean, you got Malcolm X giving one of his greatest speeches talking about Martin Luther King. So I'm probably going to play a clip of that real quick. I'm not going to play the whole entire clip of him going in on Martin Luther King, but I am going to play this
peacefully after they've been turning the cheeks.
Let's get to it right now, man. I need everybody to hit that like button, thumb up the video, support the channel, man. It's your brother Aboriginal Power. If you haven't hit that like button or supported the channel, go ahead and do so now, man. Let everybody know you support the channel, man. It's real. You know what I'm saying? You got to support the real, man. Let's at least have a few people support the channel today, man. So shout out to everybody in the building, man. Let's continue this live stream.
Mr. Malcolm, what do you think of Martin Luther King?
I think that any Black man who teaches Black people to turn the other cheek and suffer peacefully after they've been turning the cheek and suffering peacefully for 400 years in a land of bondage under the most cruel, inhuman, and wicked slave master that any people have ever been under, he is doing those people an injustice, and he's a traitor to his own people. Nobody should teach the Black man in America to turn the other cheek unless someone is teaching the white man in America to turn the other cheek. And no one should advocate any peaceful suffering to Black people unless the white man is going to practice the same kind of peaceful suffering. What Martin Luther King is doing is disarming the Black people of America of their God-given right and of their natural right. And the law of nature gives a man a right to defend himself when he's attacked. And the God's law itself gives a man the right to defend himself when he's attacked. So peaceful suffering and passive resistance and all of that stuff is all right maybe in India somewhere, where the people in India outnumber the whites about a million to one. But here in America, when you tell, that's like an elephant sitting down on a mouse in India with Gandhi. But in America, you have the mouse now trying to sit down on the elephant, thinking that he's going somewhere, and it's absurd.
Don't you think that perhaps the idea of nonviolent resistance is a tactic which disarms the white community as much, if not more, than it does the Negro?
No, you don't disarm any white community with any by confining yourself to any particular method. If you want freedom, then you should get freedom, like Patrick Henry said, by whatever method is necessary. If you are not willing to pay the price for freedom, you don't deserve freedom.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Go on.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Well, it seems to me that actually the basis of distinction here is a distinction of goals. Dr. King's goals are quite different from yours. He believes in integration, complete integration of society.
Well, that's where Dr. King is mixed up. His goal should be the solution of the problem of the Black man in America. Now, not integration. Integration is the method toward obtaining that goal. And what the Negro leader has done is gotten himself wrapped up in the method and has forgotten what the goal is. The goal is the dignity of the Black man in America. He wants respect as a human being. He wants recognition as a human being. Now, if integration will get him that, all right. If segregation will get him that, all right. If separation will get him that, all right. But after he gets integration and he still doesn't have this dignity and this recognition as a human being, then his problem is still not solved.
Well, isn't this exactly what Dr. King is looking towards? And that is the day when the Negro will be treated with dignity. Wasn't this, after all, the result of the Montgomery bus boycott?
No, because I think you can, having an opportunity to ride either on the front or the back or in the middle of someone else's bus doesn't dignify you. When you have your own bus, then you have dignity. When you have your own school, you have dignity. When you have your own country, you have dignity. When you have something of your own, you have dignity. But whenever you are begging for a chance to participate in that which belongs to someone else, or use that which belongs to someone else on an equal basis with the owner, that's not dignity, that's ignorance. The if I may add.
That's a fire
For
answer.
instance, King and these others will say that they are fighting for the Negro to have equal job opportunities. How can people, a group of people such as our people who own no factories, have equal job opportunities competing against a race that owns the factories? The only way the two can have equal job opportunities is if black people have factories as well as white people have factories. And then we can employ whites or we can employ blacks, just like they can employ whites or they can employ blacks. But as long as the factories are in the hands of the whites, the housing is in the hands of the whites, the school system is in the hands of the whites, you have a situation where the blacks are constantly begging the whites, can they use this or can they use that? That's not any kind of equality of opportunity, nor does it lend toward one's dignity.
Well, would you not admit that the situation in the South today for the Negro is better than it was, let's say, 10 years ago?
No, because 10 years ago, the man knew what his condition was. And today, because of the world revolution that's taking place all over this earth, black man would be fighting for what he knows is his by right. But the movement on the part of King and the others has done nothing but slow down the militancy that is inherent in the nature of the black man. All over this world, people are standing up for freedom. In this country, these Negro leaders have Negroes sitting down, thinking that there's dignity towards sitting in. I might add, ma'am, how in the world can you say, or can anyone say, that it will dignify the American Negro to beg in or wade in or plead in when the people in Hungary didn't beg in? They were freedom fighters and they fought for their freedom and they came to this country and they were Hungarians, they were communists from a communist country, and right now those Hungarian freedom fighters can get jobs that student sit-ins can't get. They can go and sleep and live in hotels that Martin Luther King himself can't live in. So, and they are recognized and respected because they're fighters, not because they're sit-inners or freedom writers.
So I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man. I might have to run that back, man. That was his answers that he gave y'all is so authentic, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. If y'all want me to run that one little clip back, drop a fire emoji in the chat. I feel like Malcolm X had some strong words and it was very articulate, and I don't think I could have said it better myself. I mean, Malcolm got that conversation, bro. He made great points. I would love to hear the rebuttal from Martin Luther King. I would have loved to hear that rebuttal. I'm gonna play it one more time. Fuck it. Let's play it one more time. Hold on. I'll play this shit for you.
Mr. Malcolm, what do you think of Martin Luther King?
I think that any black man who teaches black people to turn the other cheek and suffer peacefully after they've been turning the cheek and suffering peacefully for 400 years in a land of bondage under the most cruel, inhuman, and wicked slave master that any people have ever been under, he is doing those people an injustice, and he's a traitor to his own people. Nobody should teach the black man in America to turn the other cheek unless someone is teaching the white man in America to turn the other cheek. And no one should advocate any peaceful suffering to black people unless the white man is going to practice the same kind of peaceful suffering. What Martin Luther King is doing is disarming the black people of America of their God-given right and of their natural right. And the law of nature gives a man a right to defend himself when he's attacked. And the God's law itself gives a man the right to defend himself when he's attacked. So peaceful suffering and passive resistance and all of that stuff is all right maybe in India somewhere, where the people in India outnumber the whites about a million to one. But here in America, when you tell, that's like an elephant sitting down on a mouse in India with Gandhi. But in America, you have the mouse now trying to sit down on the elephant, thinking that he's going somewhere, and it's absurd.
Don't you think that perhaps the idea of nonviolent resistance is a tactic which disarms the white community as much, if not more, than it does the Negro?
No, you don't disarm any white community with any by confining yourself to any particular method. If you want freedom, then you should get freedom, like Patrick Henry said, by whatever method is necessary. If you are not willing to pay the price for freedom, you don't deserve freedom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you. Go on.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Well, it seems to me that actually the basis of distinction here is a distinction of goals. Dr. King's goals are quite different from yours. He believes in integration, complete integration of society. Is that correct?
Well, that's where Dr. King is mixed up. His goal should be the solution of the problem of the black man in America. Now, not integration. Integration is the method toward obtaining that goal. And what the Negro leader has done is gotten himself wrapped up in the method and has forgotten what the goal is. The goal is the dignity of the black man in America. He wants respect as a human being. He wants recognition as a human being. Now, if integration will
and
get him that, all right.
Let me say this right quick. I'm gonna just stop right quick because he said some shit. He said what Martin Luther King is doing is taking away our God-given rights, which is the right to protect yourself at any given means, no matter who it is. And there's a case study that talks about this. Are y'all familiar with Plummer versus the state of Texas? Y'all must. I don't know if y'all know though. When I first came into this Aboriginal shit, all I did was teach law videos. That's all I did. If you ain't never familiar with the Supreme Court study, Plummer versus State, it's an 1893 case where, in the Indiana Supreme Court, the case was overturned a manslaughter conviction by the ruling that was convicted defendant had been protecting himself from a legal use of force by a police officer. So in other words, the police officer was doing some shit he didn't have no business doing, overstepping his boundaries, probably a racist, and a nigga killed that motherfucking police officer. And he went to, and mind you, he was pulled over for a stop, a traffic stop. The police officer got killed by the dude who got stopped, and the dude who got stopped won the case. You got the right to protect yourself by any means necessary. Look that case up, man. Plummer versus State of Texas. It's a good case law, especially when defending yourself. If you guys are ever in that situation. And I know a lot of these states don't have the stand your ground laws. Texas don't have it. They don't have, a lot of these states don't have certain things. You see what I'm saying? So, that's a case law that could be used, properly used. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's continue this conversation.
If segregation will get him that, all right. If separation will get him that, all right. But after he gets integration and he still doesn't have this dignity and this recognition as a human being, then his problem is still not solved.
Well, isn't this exactly what Dr. King is looking towards? And that is the day when the Negro will be treated with dignity. Wasn't this, after all, the result of the Montgomery bus boycott?
No, because I don't think you can, having an opportunity to ride either on the front or the back or in the middle of someone else's bus doesn't dignify you. When you have your own bus, then you have dignity. When you have your own school, you have dignity. When you have your own country, you have dignity. When you have something of your own, you have dignity. But whenever you are begging for a chance to participate in that which belongs to someone else, or use that which belongs to someone else on an equal basis with the owner, that's not dignity, that's ignorance. If I may add, for instance, King and these others will say that they are fighting for the Negro to have equal job opportunities. How can people, a group of people such as our people who own no factories, have equal job opportunities competing against a race that owns the factories? The only way the two can have equal job opportunities is if black people have factories as well as white people have factories. And then we can employ whites or we can employ blacks, just like they can employ whites or they can employ blacks. But as long as the factories are in the hands of the whites, the housing is in the hands of the whites, the school system is in the hands of the whites, you have a situation where the blacks are constantly begging the whites, can they use this or can they use that? That's not any kind of equality of opportunity, nor does it lend toward one's dignity.
Well, would you not admit that the situation in the South today for the Negro is better than it was, let's say, 10 years ago?
No, because 10 years ago, the black man knew what his condition was. And today, because of the world revolution that's taking place all over this earth, the black man would be fighting for what he knows is his by right. But the movement on the part of King and the others has done nothing but slow down the militancy that is inherent in the nature of the black man. All over this world, people are standing up for freedom. In this country, these Negro leaders have Negroes sitting down, thinking that there's dignity towards sitting in. I might add, ma'am, how in the world can you say, or can anyone say, that it will dignify the American Negro to beg in or wade in or plead in when the people in Hungary didn't beg in? They were freedom fighters, and they fought for their freedom, and they came to this country, and they were Hungarians, they were communists from a communist country, and right now those Hungarian freedom fighters can get jobs that student sit-ins can't get. They can go and sleep and live in hotels that Martin Luther King himself can't live in. So, and they are recognized and respected because they're fighters, not because they're sit-inners or freedom writers.
So strong words from Malcolm X that he had towards Martin Luther King, man. So, man, that's really been the concept and the truth behind this whole understanding is that, yeah, Martin Luther King was a sellout. And I think sometimes when you're conditioned and you're indoctrinated, you don't know that you're working and doing the job as the colonizer wants you to do. And I believe that he woke up. And I believe the minute Martin Luther King woke up, he was assassinated because he was trying to get the cheese. Now this reparations conversations or restitution conversation is on the table, and we understand that we've been here. We're saying that we built this country. We're saying that, you know what I'm saying? So this conversation is on the floor, which is almost a repeated conversation, but it's been amplified by so many voices. I just believe that Martin Luther King worked with them other people for so long. And by the time he realized and seen the wicked shit that was going on behind these deals, by the time he seen that he had a lot of people following him and believing in him, that he ushered into what he called a burning building. You understand what I'm saying? It was already too late. You know what I'm saying? They assassinated him. And then later on, allegedly killing him in the hospital. Allegedly. We got 244 people in here. I appreciate it if we can get some more likes in the building, man. We only got 144 likes. That means 100 people has not hit the like button. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. We're going to get into more of the conversation. I'm probably going to drop the link to the StreamYard panel, and I'm going to allow some brothers and sisters to come in. Also, I'm going to open up the phone calls, the phone line today. So you guys can call in right now at any given time. We're going to open up the phone calls and the phone lines today, man. So go ahead and start calling in. The phone line is open right now as we speak. It's ticking across. Also, the number is ticking across at the bottom of the screen, so you guys can call in any time of your choice. So make sure you guys call in, support the channel. Shout out to everybody in the building too, man. We ain't had nobody support the channel today. We got 100 people that ain't hit the like button. What's going on today? What's going on? Is everybody okay? Y'all can talk to your brother Big Al. We ain't had nobody support, and we got down there 100 people that ain't hit the like button. Is y'all okay? Y'all good? Y'all woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning? I mean, it's cool if you did. Just let me know, fam. I'm gonna pass you a backwood or something. Don't do that to your brother, Big Al. I ain't did no nothing to nobody. I ain't did nobody no good. You know what I'm saying? Nah, New Penny. You in here, New Penny. I don't know why you would be blocked. I only block weirdos and haters. And New Penny, I know you're not no hater, so you definitely shouldn't be blocked, brother. Come on, man. Well, let's get 21 people to hit the like button, man. We need 21 more people. And we can get up to 200 likes, man. Let's get 20. And we'll leave the 41 people, I guess, just to be haters, I guess. I don't know. Or people that can't hit the like button. I don't know why you couldn't. But I'm going to drop the link in the chat, man. I'm going to drop the link in a second. But yeah, man, I believe Martin Luther King was a sellout at first. I believe Malcolm X was a sellout in the end. See, you see how that worked? I feel like Martin Luther King was a sellout in the beginning and got clear understanding at the end. And I believe Malcolm X was cool in the beginning and became a motherfucking agent in the end. You understand what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the building too, man. Let's see how many likes we got today. The phone line is open. Moderators, drop the number to the phone line in the chat for the brothers and sisters that want to call in. All we need is 7 more likes, family. 7 more likes. That's it. Just 7 more likes, family. It's unfortunate, really. Yeah, it is, man. It is. That's why we can't be putting all our faith in no leaders. Niggas look at people with these big platforms and these channels as leaders. Nah, nigga. We all leaders. We going this bitch side by side, arm by arm. You know what I mean? We're not about to go through singling out one nigga to put on a platform and none of us got the juice. We all got the juice. You can't assassinate a million of us. That's all on the same wave. All got the same objective. All want the same end goals. All got the same knowledge. Cause we in the time of information. Back in the day, these certain niggas read and just, now niggas you just hear. You know what I'm saying? Some niggas don't even read. They just hear niggas that read. Some niggas ain't research. They just heard a nigga that research. You understand me? That's what day we in. So we in a time where niggas already hip and they ain't got to do half the work, but they already on. We all side by side. We putting in work. They can't assassinate us all, baby. It's over with. It's the rise of the American gods, better known as the American Negro. I have a dream. Moderators, drop the Cash App in the chat, man. And all information, by the way, Cash App and PayPal information is ticking across at the bottom of the screen. It's right there where it say Aboriginal Power, Gmail, call-in number. All that information is ticking across at the bottom of the screen, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. The call-in number is on the screen. Make sure y'all call in. We got an unknown caller calling in, man. Unknown caller, state your name and where you calling from. You live talking to Big Aboriginal Power on the Wake and Bake Show.
My name is Verbatim.
I speak up a little louder, sir. I can barely hear you.
My name is Verbatim.
What's going on, Rob Noxious?
This isn't Rob Noxious. My name is Verbatim.
Bro, this is Rob, bro. Come on, bro.
This is not Rob Noxious. Dude, stop it. I don't even know that guy.
Bro, I got you. Your number didn't even show up blocked. I just said that it says your name right here, bro.
All right.
Robert.
I just want to know. Come on, man. It's Martin Luther King. How you gonna talk Martin?
Come on, man. Why you come on here lying and shit like you ain't Rob, bro? Come on. You caught, bro.
Come on, man.
Come on. You already caught lying. Next caller, call in, you guys. Call in. See, he lying. See, you see how we... See, nobody can fool Big Bap. Nobody can. I can spot a hillbilly voice from a mile away. It's just like Ray Charles when it comes to when Ray Charles fell him off one of those motherfucker wrists. He can tell you everything about a motherfucker about a wrist. I can hear your voice, boy. I know your ethnicity. I can tell you what cave you crawled out of. I can tell you what monkey you connected to, boy. You talking to an American god, son. You understand me, Rod? Shout out to the American Aborigines, man. That's what you call siphoning and filtering in through the line, man. These people ain't ready. Thinking Space, Ghetto Child has put the cash app in the chat. Shout out to Ghetto Child Clinic. Let me drop the link in the chat for you guys. Let me drop the link in the chat. Let's drop another number in the chat. We got another caller, man. We got 816 area code. State your name and where you calling from. You live talking to Big Aboriginal Power on the Wake and Bake Show.
Yeah, it's KC Featherhead from KC Mo.
Man,
Now, the other
KC,
day I
what's
heard
going on?
I heard one of y'all talking about like the paradigm between Barack and Martin Luther King. If you could kind of, I don't know if it was you who was saying it, but if you know anything about his name being Michael, you know, like, or him going under a different name, if you could expand on that a little more.
I don't think that was me, but yeah, I don't really got no knowledge on that bit, bro. I think that was somebody else. I forget who it was. I do remember them saying something like that. But I did hear some weird conspiracy that Obama could be Malcolm X's son.
Huh.
I heard that weird conspiracy. Somehow, Obama's mom went to school where Malcolm X used to be at, and they got pictures with each other and everything. And allegedly, some Senate told somebody, I forget how it goes. I'm paraphrasing. Told Obama, listen, we ain't gonna have no other. We ain't gonna have another Malcolm X, are we? You know, talking to him. You know, and you know, and then they, you know, of course, the resemblance that they have. But yeah, that's all conspiracy theory, though.
Yeah, no, I heard it was that dude that was on the panel. I'm pretty sure it was your panel the other day who said something about his name being Michael. But I also heard it was either Asir or that Rashad Jamal dude. I've heard it more than once, his name being Michael and this and that. So I was just curious if you knew any more about it.
No, I'm about to do some research right now while we're on the phone. Let me do some research because we're gonna get it.
I always thought that was interesting.
Let's get into it. Let's see. I ain't finding nothing.
I mean, some information's out there because he wasn't the only one who said it, you know, but I don't know. I just figured I'd call and ask because.
No, I appreciate you though. You know, I'm just doing some quick research, but I ain't finding it. But I ain't saying that it ain't nothing. I just said I can't find it. But shit, I'm gonna see. I wish that motherfucking brother would come on real quick.
Yeah, I forgot who it was, but yeah, I hope he does. But all right, I'm gonna stay tuned in.
All right, bro. I appreciate you for calling in too, bro.
All right, much love.
All right, much love, bro. Peace. Shout out to my boy KC. KC in the building. Make sure y'all call in, man. Call in. The call-in number is on the screen, man. Y'all call in. How y'all feel? Is Martin Luther King a traitor? How y'all feel? Was he for our people? Talk to me. Let me know how y'all feel about this shit. I need y'all to hit that like button too, man. Dive deep into the information on yeah, that's what we gotta look into. Let's look up Martin Luther King's daddy. That's what we need to do. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll do some research on another note. You got me going down the rabbit hole down this month. Shout out to Indigenous Minds. We got Thinking Space on here as well. Who else we got on here? We got Cotton Picker. Cotton Pick on here. What's going on? How y'all feeling today?
What's going on, Big AP, man? What's popping with you, bro?
Man, everything good. Everything good with y'all?
Man, you know, Kentucky in the building, man. Kentucky in the building. Holy to all my American Indians out there. But along with what you're saying, man, I'm not gonna say he's an agent, even though I don't fuck with him because just like Barack Obama, he didn't tell us his real name type shit. But all I'm gonna say is, anytime the U.S. government bring you somebody that look like you to help you at your own oppression, watch that little bitch, man.
Right. No, that's some real shit though. You gotta watch them. Hey man, we got 504 area code. You're live talking to Big Aboriginal Power on the Awakening. State your name and where you calling in from.
It's Rob McCoy, calling in from the road. I'm in my truck. I hope y'all can hear me.
What up, Rob?
If you can hear me, I'll be brief.
Yep.
What's going on with you, bro?
What's going on with it, Brody? You good?
Man, yeah, I'm good. I hate that I'm having to work today, but it is what it is. I'm looking at it as I'm making money today instead of calling it work.
That's a fact. You're making money. That's a fact.
Indeed. Regarding the topic, you know, I think Mike did as good as he could, considering his dad was such a coon that he changed his name to a white dude. His name was Michael. But he was so enamored with Martin Luther from Europe and his attack on the Catholics or the Protestants. I can't even remember anymore because it's not important. But that when you have a dad that's so in love with white folk that he changes his name, and your name, because you're a junior, you already starting off on the coon side of things, you know. But as the brother just said, if somebody is being selected to be the person that the government don't mind doing things, well, you got to look sideways at that person. And unfortunately, through his own words, he showed that it was too late when he figured out that the game was severely rigged. In his defense, I will say, when people tell you you're more likely to be able to talk to the president if you don't, if you're not over groups that are known to go out and bust ass, I can understand that man saying, hey guys, if y'all want to come on this march, you can't come if you cannot make a promise to be nonviolent, because the bigger picture is, if we can do this, I actually can go and sit and talk to President Johnson, but I know we won't have a chance of doing anything like that if we out there busting ass, even though we deserve to be out there busting ass. You did have the deacons of defense and the guys who offered their services to Mike, but he would turn them down often because he was thinking about getting on Pennsylvania Avenue and getting some stuff done. But the man was highly intelligent. I think he was intelligent enough to realize that we would have just been better off supporting each other and never, ever trying to have what We just wanted to make sure that our schools had clean water. I mean, the fact that he let them get hijacked is unfortunate. But what angers me the most is his generation, the ones that are left, the black baby boomer generation. That includes my mother. Too many of them were completely cool with just keeping their head down. Once the calendar said 1970, every black baby boomer team put their heads down and got busy partying and just trying to think about it. Look at the movies. I saw a fascinating documentary by Mario Van Peebles' father, in which he talked about how there was a concerted effort beginning in 1969 going forward to have all the black movies show you nothing but just pimps and stuff like that. And so they killed all of our revolutionaries in the 60s, and at the beginning of the 70s, tell you all you need to do is get you some white wall tires, be Dolomite, be like Superfly, y'all. That's all you need to worry about. Yeah, do this coke. Go fuck that white woman. Go do all this little stuff. And it's no wonder that we pretty much have been in suspended animation since 1969, and we can lay that blame squarely at the feet of the black baby boomers who still to this day are completely cool with symbolism instead of tangibles. They love that shit. I'm gonna stop there and keep listening. Hey, thank you guys for everything. I'm gonna keep listening.
Hey man, I appreciate your conversation, bro. I appreciate that, man. Enjoy the rest of your day.
They sold us out, man. You know what I'm saying?
They did. They sold us.
You know, I think it's completely sad that here today in today's society, it's so-called 2023, so the pilgrim gonna call it. You know, they fail to realize that all the scared Negroes are dead. So I don't know what the hell they doing, man. It's feathers up.
Man, that's a fact, bro. That's why we standing on business, man. We standing on big American, ancient American, modern American, new American, future American business, man. So yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. I want to give a special shout out to Darvis Baylock for the Cash App donation, man. Shout out to Darvis Baylock, bro. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, brother. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Don't let Darvis Baylock be the only one to support the channel.
And AP, before I slide, man, I want to say this, man. You know, I don't see how he was so intelligent and cared so much about the people when he couldn't simply tell the people that 27 CFR 72.11 states that all crimes are commercial. The 28 USC 3002 states that the United States is a federal corporation. You couldn't tell them that shit, but you could tell them to take an ass whooping.
Right.
I digress.
Right. Great point. No, nigga, we ain't about to keep turning other cheek ass shit. Hey, man, we got two more.
It wasn't just like an ass whooping.
Got the thinking space, man. We got thinking space on her.
Yeah, my bad, bro. It's like you're telling people to stand there while they weaponize everything against you. You know, like, nah. And then you're saying equality. So how are they equal if they're on somebody else's land? Like, first of all, you're a criminal already. Your concept is a criminal organization. And then you're going to try to push yourself into our communities because you created this segregation bullshit, right? So now you want to push yourself into another set of people's community, and you want to claim equality.
Only because they see it to be lucrative. They see it to be lucrative, so they like, listen. We push these Negroes away. Now they making all this goddamn money. They inventing shit. Let's get these niggas to come over here. We need a little bit of what they got going on. 213 area code. You live talking to Big Original Power on the Wake and Bake Show. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on? My name is Andrew. I go by the name Aqua Stone Throne. I'm a multi-platinum musician, director, and photographer.
Shout out to you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you. You know, I just want to tap in because I'm actually an Aboriginal myself. You know, everyone that has some type of color from the Americas, because, you know, a lot of people need to understand that it's also the Spanish people as well. We're actually all the same. And we were all the same, you know, the same different Indians throughout the entire span from California all the way
What
down
do you
to
mean? What do you mean Spanish people are all the same? Don't Spanish people come from Spain?
Well, no, I'm talking about the indigenous Aboriginal Indians, which were in the South American region. The same exact.
Okay, the ones that got colonized by the Spain. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, that's a fact, bro. And listen, we want to pay homage, not even just to those brothers that's colonized by the Spanish, the ones that's colonized by the British, everybody. We got from Canada down to Brazil. Shout out to all my Aboriginal brothers. You feel me? I know they having a hard time throughout the whole Americas. We got immigrants all throughout our land acting like us, assimilating, pillaging, taking away from us while keeping us restrained and contained at the bottom of the totem pole. You understand me? So, but we standing up though.
But exactly. Well, it's actually a wake-up time right now. I pay attention to a lot of awakened media, and I've been of an awakened mind state for almost 25 years now. I've also worked completely outside of the system for 25 years.
Beautiful.
So I really love to see what's happening in the last 2 or 3 years, because, in all honesty, us people of color are so tragically lost right now. It's not even funny, and it's really important that we all get on the ball. And the most important thing that we can honestly all do is stop eating nonsense, because everyone lacks so much knowledge of self.
And that's the true power, brother. That's the true power, and that's what I spread. Yeah. That's what my knowledge is. So, I'm glad you ran into this platform, because listen, man, the true power is knowledge of self. And everybody is the same when it comes to being a human, being to your region of land. But what separates us is our attributes, our cultures, our customs, our traditions. These things are organically formed. You know what I'm saying? And mastered over time. And us as Aboriginal Americans stand out like a sore thumb when we start looking at culture, customs, and traditions, inventions, and innovations compared to other places around the world. We like at the top of the list.
There is no list. It's just people of color that invent. And the truth is that the reason why I say to all your viewers and everyone that's listening is, we can talk about a million different things on how everything is screwed up, because everything is really tragically screwed up here. But when you really start taking account of your own body and your own diet and staring at the sun and meditating, then you could just stop talking and then really be about something. And then when you really start changing your inner universe, the outside universe changes, because this is a holographic reality. And this is real. Everything is energy. And I personally look at things as just being like really crazy. Like it's ridiculous that I see grown men going crazy over football games, over basketball games, over this ridiculous trap music. Like it's really absolutely pathetic.
I mean, to be honest,
hopefully I'm talking to a lot of Americans that really need to wake up and cut the shit.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's with the people who are running it. See, I like the, and you're right, it does have a lot of negativity, and it does take away from the focus. But we got to understand that this is a strategized plan. They put things that resonates and ignite a certain spark inside of your DNA. They'll put you in front of a basketball court and tell you to do it until you make it to the pro. You understand me? They'll put you in front of a certain hip hop music, not knowing that same format of system goes back thousands of years ago, even with the sporting football. So what I'm saying is they'll do shit and then corrupt the vibration based off of whose horn is it. And it's the colonizers who just retooking all of your shit, GMO'd it, and then give it right back to you. So that's why a lot of our people harness to it. Hip hop is just another form of rhythm and blues. It's just another form of music. It's just another form of vibrational frequencies based off of you observing and explaining, expressing what's going on in your environment. You see what I'm saying? This goes back to thousands of years ago to places like Serpent Mound. This goes back to places like Cahokia. Even over there on the Eastern Hemisphere to what we see over there at the, I forget what the hell the place is called. Easter Island, whatever. You see what I'm saying? This is all ancient shit, and they reformulate it. So our people harness it and they hold dear to it. They're emotionally attached. They're vibrationally in tune with it because this particular element, which is GMO, have a root that goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years from which your ancestors is connected to. And they have passed down these cells and these memory cells and these genetic memory that vibrates and ignites and wake up that's inside of you.
Well, my brother, you're speaking from an awakened mind, just like I am. But most of the viewers and the people out here in this world are not of awakened minds.
Facts.
So they're not really connected to their ancestors. And so this is why I kind of, I talk my shit. Because I know who I am, I know where I am, and I know how I got. I know the thing. And so I'm the ancestors. My ancestors channel through me.
Yeah, we are. We are our ancestors, literally.
From a completely different level. And for me being a child of the Most High and allowing the Most High to use me as a vessel to create at such a high level in everything that I do, I really just want to share my words of wisdom with the world to say, yo, it's really time to wake up and get wigged. Quit being so sloppy. Quit fucking listening to all of these entertainment. Like, this shit is entertainment. People really think the games are real. Like, this shit it's pathetic how undereducated all people of color are. And this is like, this is very, very serious what's going on in the world right now. And it's very important that all people of color start taking this shit very seriously because they're out here making cyborgs. So
I think that's part of the learning experience. I think now we're in the most enlightened time. Now you can find some of the most melanated people across the world with no training with indoctrination that is very articulate, and they're very self-taught researchers that has significantly changed the minds of mainstream scientists and now been introduced into their communities. So I believe one of the most valuable part is the unlearn, which is ultimately to uneducate yourself from this indoctrinated caste system. A lot of people are too. I think the fact that I think people are too educated, and what I mean that is with the colonizer system. They think this because
it's really this simple, right? Because on some real shit, all people of color, we got the most ego. But the realest shit ever is just having to humble yourself enough to understand that everything is a lie. And only once you are able to humble yourself to that truth can you then start to put yourself and everything back together. Because what you're saying is exactly the truth. But there's a lot of uneducated people that think that they know what's going on because they were taught in their system, and then they got a little position, and now they think, and once again, it's all about the ego. But when you really start activating your chakras and put in the work and fast, cut the bullshit, stop listening to the radio and television, start staring at the sun until your eyes start fucking burning, something will eventually change. And you will eventually wake up. And this is where we're at right now. This is what is needed.
This is the way I look at it. I feel like no matter how much you sit there, think, ponder, and try to formulate, you can shake your head until the moon turn to cheese. And nothing's going to change. It's going to take for us to put action behind it. Energy cannot be created. It can only be generated. And the way we generate it is about put action behind it. That's to keep shit moving. That's called potential energy. And that's what we have to put behind a lot of our actions and a lot of our sequences that we have out there. That's all. We just got to put actions behind it. I appreciate talking to you, brother. I enjoy the conversation, man. Call back in, subscribe to the channel. I would like to get you on the panel sometimes, man. Just come through and enjoy it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. you.
Not a
I
problem,
really
brother.
appreciate you, man.
Peace and
And if
blessings.
you guys are, if anyone out there wants to listen to my music, I go by the name Octastone Throne. I put, the highest minds and best creators in this realm speak through code. If you look at my album covers, you'll see the secrets, because I'm one of the ancestors. And so you'll see the secrets through the visuals and through the symbolism, because I have symbolism that Disney stole from me. So I just want to say that, and I love y'all, and y'all it's our time. Check out Bitcoin, and stay educated, meditate, and just try to gain knowledge of self, and really pay attention, because the game is changing right now.
Absolutely,
everyone
bro.
that does not understand that the financial system is changing right now is going to get left behind. So it's very important to really stay on the ball on all levels of thought right now. I love y'all.
Peace and blessings, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to that good brother, man.
Yeah, peace to that brother.
Yeah.
Hey, peace to you, AP, man. Peace to everybody in the chat, man. Hey,
Peace to you, Ms. Mons. Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, just a kind of caveat, it's not always just the lack of education, it's the lack of information that's out there for us to have. A lot of things are suppressed, so we got to dig deep into the earth just to find a good piece of evidence. And a lot of our history is distorted, so we got to learn how to read between the lines. And this is our ability to be able to discern, to be able to separate ourselves, to understand that a lot of people really do suffer from cognitive dissonance, and it starts at an early age. We learn about American history at the elementary level, okay? When we're too young to even comprehend what's going on. And this kind of goes back to Martin Luther King. And, I refer to people like my grandfather, my father was born in the 30s. Okay. So their understanding of what was happening around them was minute, unless they were living in certain areas that were still suffering from riot attacks. Okay. So even when it comes to Martin Luther King, I won't necessarily say he was an agent, because sometimes we throw that word out there very loosely, but he was used unknowingly. And once he realized what was happening, it was that, he started to speak out. And that's why he told us that he felt like he was leading people into a burning house. We have an enemy that will stay, like we already stated, that will use our own people to put in front of us to divert us off of our attention. I will use Stokely Carmichael. He was kind of a slight opposition to what Martin Luther King was doing. And if we're not careful, these people will come and sit right in front of you, talk all that good shit. But we gotta understand that they really don't mean no good for us. They are a part of that bullshit system that we call COINTELPRO. And COINTELPRO has been in effect for a very long time. I advise people to research the history. But that's part of my piece. I'm gonna sit back for a little bit.
Now there's some heat though. There's been sub branches off of the COINTELPRO. Hold on, let me get some more water. You got GIP. You feel me? Ghetto Informant Program. You got all this shit. You got hillbilly niggas like Rob that come through, that do antics, that stop our bills of concern and harmony, and he brings chaos, confusion. This is what the beast and colonizer has done since they have set foot on our land. And it's been proven time and time and time again that the wicked beast, no matter how much he may want to, he cannot build in harmony. If I was to let a brother like Kid Grebo, who's obviously an African immigrant who has disdain towards Black Americans, or Hillbilly Rob, who's a racist undercover who portrays that he likes and lives around Black people. If I was to allow people like him on, they will start chaos. and confusion amongst our people. This is a harmonized bill. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if you are enjoying the live stream, you guys. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are enjoying the live stream. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Support the channel, man. Hit the like buttons too, man. Let's get these likes up. We got my big brother Hawk School in the building, man. Real hawks don't fly with pigeons type shit, man. Go ahead, Hawk. You got the flow.
Tribe. Man, I'm just glad to be here, man. I'm enjoying the show, man. Checking it out, man. You a funny motherfucker, man. Peace to the tribes.
No, it is funny sometimes because, you know, the truth comes.
We laugh to keep from crying, you know.
Right, because it's so serious and sad how these wicked people come amongst us. We got Chief Tuscaloosa on here as well with us. Chief Tuscaloosa, what's going on with it, brother? I don't know if he can hear me. He might be on a delay. Shout out to Cal Finch, Ben Worthy Studio.
Man, Last Dragon, what's popping, my brother?
The Last Dragon, what up? You know what's up,
hey, man. I just want to say one thing, man, and then I'm gonna get off here because I got a delay.
No, you good. Go ahead. You got it.
We have to stop blaming. All right, we have to stop blaming these white folks, man. Right here, right now in 2023, we our own biggest fucking enemy, man. I don't see these white folks doing shit to us.
Well, that mean we ain't got no enemy then. We need to just go on and level up. If there's no enemy, if there's no enemy within, there'll be no enemies without.
I tell this shit all the time. It's you versus you. That's it. It's you versus you, man. When your success,
what I'm saying is, man, listen.
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure everybody
man,
understands.
put your tomahawk up, man. It's too early,
Niggas
man.
is our worst enemy today, man. Like shit. I appreciate it.
He got a delay too, though, so he on like a 30-second delay.
Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
You got it, big brother Chief Tuscaloosa. You got it, bro. Shout out to everybody in the building too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree on level. There's levels to it, though. You know, our people have been conditioned to self-destruct, and it's due to the system, and we have forces that drive the machine. So, you know, it's our job to do our due diligence to research who a lot of these entities are. You know, that's controlling a lot of money, access to trades, and you know, to learn the history of trade and understand what our people had contributed and what we influenced and what we actually established. You know, it's a lot of hidden history, man. And, you know, like I said, we just got to keep on digging. It's a deep ass hole. I'm going to tell you that.
That bitch go real deep. No pun intended. Real talk.
Hey, this a little off subject, but I was looking at studying Chitimacha tribe, you know, coming out of Louisiana, and researching the conflict that was going on between the real Chitimacha and people who pretty much claim to be. All right, but I found it interesting that there's a Chitty tribe in India, and there was a Chitty tribe in present day India. And when I started researching the imagery and the garments, it kind of looked like Muskogee people, like the Creek tribes with the head wraps and a feather. So, you know, I think we really need to really start reading between the lines and understanding the power and the government power and change the powers that the American Negro had across the globe. Because they are really telling us the whole story in reverse. You know, I find it mighty odd that after the Civil War, we went right into Jim Crow. We had a Reconstruction, and this whole time now they're playing occupancy, and more foreigners are flooding into the United States, and our structure of economic power is falling apart because of all these. They call it race riots. I say this is all battles and war, because these ain't just little gunplay. They came in with bombs too, bombing our some of these towns. So
Right, and that's exactly what happened, man. So, it's a construct game. They did it. They hit us with the Reconstruction. You feel me? Gathered up shit, started changing it. Came with the whole anti-federal shit.
Yep, Federal Reserve formed out of nowhere. All these different agencies formed while towns are being massacred, and then we hit right into the Great Depression.
Right.
In the midst of two great wars, so-called great wars. Pay attention, guys. This is warfare.
Right. This is all warfare, man. Every tactic that they use, them ushering in these immigrants, from making us citizens under this whole construct. Everything is formulated to get rid of us, bro. Excuse me. Straight up. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Let's get it, man. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Anybody can come on, man. Anybody can come on. We got Hillbilly Rob on here, man. What's up, Hillbilly?
What's up, yo? I've been doing a lot. I've been up for like 24 hours watching videos, older videos. People like Tahuti.
How the fuck can you stay up for 24 hours, bro?
I'm so interested in your history. I went up in your history personally, App.
I'm saying though, like, how can you stay up for 24 hours though, bro?
Oh, because I'm so dedicated, man. I'm so dedicated. I watched your interview with Tahuti, Lord Kappa.
I'm gonna be real, bro. It's gonna be hard for you to rationalize when you're on that good meth.
Yeah,
like you got some Breaking Bad shit, and you literally Breaking Bad right now, bro.
Hell yeah.
Nazi man.
I watched you on Bro Sanchez. I watched you on all of those guys. Saw Netter, all those guys. You got laughed off of every single interview.
Wow. Yo, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I get that sometimes. I'm a comedian sometimes, so
yeah.
People laugh and they go crazy over shit they don't understand, but it's okay. That's why we're here to educate. See, we're not here to play the games. I'm not going back and forth with you, brother. I'm just talking to you. Well, you really ain't my brother. I know what you are. Okay. But just for all fair play, we're here to educate, and we're digging on the information that's out in front of us. All right, we understand our history as so-called black people in America. You don't. You ain't sitting in front of our grandparents. You ain't sitting in front of Big Mama or Medea telling us who she was. Therefore, who we are. You ain't grow up in a church where we did the holy dance. You don't know nothing about that. That's where the holy dance come from. We got the real footwork.
What are you talking about? You guys have been
all right. What am I talking about? You don't know. So why don't you just skip your ass up out of here? Rob Noctis, that's your name. You just a troll. You're a weak ass troll.
I'm the weaker troll, huh?
Yeah, you got your nuts in your stomach.
If I'm a weak troll, I want to see a strong troll. If I'm a weak troll, I want to see a strong troll.
Go ahead, skip your ass up out of here. Go sit under your boss desk, homeboy.
I don't have a boss. I am the boss.
Yes, you do.
I am the boss.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke
crack. Way down in the jungle deep. Badass line. Stepped on the sanctified monkey's feet.
You smoke crack, don't you?
The monkey said, "Motherfucker, can't you see? Why are you standing on my goddamn feet?" The lion said, "I ain't heard a word you said." Said, "If you say 3 more, I'll be stepping on your motherfucking head."
Hey, Rob, real talk, man.
We up here really trying to get to the bottom of some shit pertaining to our history.
Yeah, you really
And
are.
if you're not here to help us, you need
All
to
right,
get
I'm
the
sorry.
fuck going, bro. For
I'm
real.
sorry. I'm sorry. That was a little comment.
Because you
Comment
come up
relief.
here and cause distractions, bro.
Hey, A1, you were on the videos too in the beginning, dude, and you were real slow in the beginning. Oh, they call
Hey, look.
you.
Hey, his name is Rob Noxious.
Hey,
It's just,
I
it's
watched a
just that
video. I
simple.
watched a video where
He has no plan.
A1
He's
called
an
him like
empty asshole.
A1
He's
called
probably
him 3
He's
times.
probably planning on doing something. Well, I ain't gonna say it on the channel,
Yeah,
but
I
he
watched a
one of them
video where
guys.
A1
His
called
life
in like
sucks,
3
man.
different
His
times. He
life
called in like
sucks.
3 different
He
times.
can't help himself.
He couldn't even get his mind right, dude. These guys are laughing at him. He's like, this guy's crazy, calling all y'all. This is so hilarious at the beginning. You got, and then Holiday comes on like he's some big Chief Holiday's like,
Okay, so what?
hey, Chief
Okay.
Holiday has
So what
arrived.
is
I
your
am
point?
here. The
What is your
Aboriginal
point?
King is here. And Chief Holiday get laughed off.
Okay,
He's
so
like,
what's your point? What's your point?
it was
Hey,
I just
Rob.
didn't.
Hey,
We
I
Rob.
laughing
didn't
at
know.
you.
Hey,
No,
I
we've been
Rob.
didn't know.
laughing at you since we met you.
Hold on. I just want to bring him on just to show y'all how much of a demon he is. I didn't want to keep him on. I just want to show y'all we was having a peaceful. And I was like, if I let a guy like him on, it's gonna bring chaos. And like I said, he's a demon. You know what I'm saying? He's a demon. He's up on crack, so you know he's binging. He got lockjaw. I'm cool.
Pause.
So back to our harmonized bill. This nigga Rob is a goof.
Yo.
Ahanu.
Peace to the gods, man.
Peace to the God.
Hillbilly
Peace,
Rob
bro.
is a crack addict. Say he's been up 24 hours watching all of our live streams.
Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to see a crackhead, I go back down the hood and pull one up, and we can have a conversation. This nigga right here is a troll.
We'll
Like
go to
when
Kensington.
you're dealing with Martin Luther King, that image you got up there is the image of him with the Rothschilds, right? So we all know, like, I mean, yeah, he was manipulated in the beginning, but at the end, the damage was already done. After he got done, bro, the damage was already done. Why are we integrating why are we integrating into white towns when we had everything? Why was that such a press?
Right.
Why was that such? Because somebody paid him to do that, to mislead the people.
Fact.
So why niggas leaving their towns where they got their own football, baseball, basketball, all these different sports and all these different functions we had apprenticeship schools and everything. I showed a video on my channel yesterday, AP. You give me a chance. Let me I want to show this video real quick. So for niggas like Rob who say we never built nothing, I just want to just show this real quick. Let's give me 1 second. And hopefully it won't fuck up like it did last night.
Yeah, if y'all look at my thumbnail on this video, that's Martin Luther King with the Rothschild. I mean, with the Rockefeller, excuse me.
He with the Rockefeller, but check this out. All of these black schools we had, who funded them? The Rockefellers. Howard University, the ballroom is named after the Rockefeller wife. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at this point in time, we know what's going on. They're the same people who came in and when we had Standard Oil, they found a way to take the whole system from us, but not really take the whole
I mean,
system.
they did.
But they found a way to
Checking that
oppress
shit
us
out.
through the KKK.
It was
That's the
Jews.
Knights of the Golden Circle, man. That's who it
You know what I'm
is.
saying? So let me, if you can, let me share this video real quick. Let me see. I'm gonna go all the way back right here. And listen to how what they saying about this guy. All right, so let's go back here. All right, we in. I'm gonna mute my mic and
let's go.
The very young soul when they were still children. It was full alert in Florida. John undertook a risk.
Is it buffering or is it just me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Is it buff or
I
is it
hear
just
you
me?
good.
Let me know.
Nah, it's buffering. I'm about to get it straight though.
I just making sure, man. 'Cause my shit
Every
be
time I
tripping.
come on the StreamYard, but prior to me playing
Normal
it on
and Industrial
StreamYard, the shit
Institute
was
for
playing. All right,
Negroes.
here you go. So look, right there. Let me stop it right there. I'm gonna go back.
Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to Akare L Bay for the $11.11 donation. He said, "May everything we touch prosper." Shout out to my
Time I
brother Akare L
click
Bay for the cash out
over and do the
donation.
same
Shout out to you, brother.
shit.
You might be on the
Man,
delay.
Chief was on. All right, hold up. Here we go.
I think you might be on the delay.
Industrial Institute for Negroes.
All right,
The
so here we go.
peculiarity of the school was that its goal was
All right,
not
hold
to
up. I'm
produce
about to
highly
mute my
educated
mic. I'm gonna start it over.
Benson accumulated substantial wealth. He had
And that shit buffering. Drop it in the back private
over
chat. I'll
3,000
pull it up.
acres of land. Hard work paid off. By 1890, John Benson accumulated substantial wealth. He had over 3,000.
Can y'all hear it now?
Yes, sir.
All right, okay. All right, here we go.
Unlike the old times when he worked for food and shelter, now his work paid off. By 1898, he had over 3,000 acres of land, a brickyard, a sawmill, a grist mill, and a cotton gin, with a compressing mill. Along with 40 other families, both black and white, he planted corn, cotton, and sugarcane. 1,000 acres of his land, covered with pine, oak, and hickory, provided abundant resources for the sawmill. Once an enslaved man, John Benson was now a wealthy landowner. His most significant wealth, however, was the community of farmers he created. Each of them had a job and a house of his own. There was even a tiny cabin schoolhouse where kids were provided basic education. It was something most black people in the South could only dream of. The community John Benson created was just an indication of what Kalijah was about to become. John's son, William Benson, inherited his father's vision of creating a prosperous black community and took it to a higher level. William was one of 3 children John and his wife Julia had. John insisted all his children were provided a proper college education. William started his education at Fisk University and finished it in 1895 at Howard College in Washington with a Bachelor of Arts degree. Even though people expected the young man to
Now he said he finished his education at Howard College in Washington. They talk about Howard University. So if he went to Fisk, Fisk had to be a black-owned school. You understand what I'm saying? But it gets better. Wait, watch this.
stay in career in a more romantic environment, William decided to return home. The desire to improve a community his father started to create was stronger than anything else. In 1895, when William returned home, eager to build up his community, Alabama was still far from an emancipated society. However, the period between the Civil War and the turn of the 20th century was marked by some progress in relations between blacks and whites in the South. One could have even seen both sitting together in a restaurant or a theater. On the other side, in 1895, at least 8 black men and women were lynched in Alabama. For this reason, William's ideas were even more important for improving the conditions of life for the black people in the South. Being a man of education himself, William knew that the only way to reach prosperity was through education and started collecting the funds to build a school. William's father, John, recognized his son's ideas and helped him by donating 10 acres of land for the school campus and lumber for the school building. 2 years after the project started, the Kalijah Academic and Industrial Institute was finished. William managed to gather some prominent names in the school, including Callaway, the school's first director, and Booker T. Washington, founder of Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute for Negroes. The peculiarity of the school was that its goal was not to produce highly educated students. Instead, William intended to train the students for life and work in their home community and prepare those ambitious to gain additional education in more developed educational centers.
Pretty much trade school.
Skilled and educated workers were necessary to build up the economy for overall progress. To achieve this goal, in 1900, William Benson organized the Dixie Industrial Company, an enterprise where students could put their training into practical use. Such a company was planned to take the Kalijah farming community to a new, higher level, transforming the natural resources into finished goods for sale. In the same way, he established the Kalijah Academic and Industrial Institute. William did a marvelous job setting up an industrial center for the village. Dixie Industrial Company comprised one of the most modern sawmills in the South, the largest turpentine distillery in the region, and a cotton ginnery. The company's farming business spread over 10,000 acres of land and employed 300 people, of which 30 were whites. Black and white families of the Kalijah community lived and worked in relative harmony. William's ideal was to secure a job for all of them, including children in the school. His plans went far beyond this, as he wanted to attract black people from other villages to come to Kalijah. In 1898, he declared an intention to spend more of his own money to build a new community for poor black families. He hired William Gray Purcell for the job, at the time a student of architecture, and got the sketches for the dwellings and the town center done. Unfortunately, the project was abruptly abandoned when an angry white mob, jealous of Benson's wealth, lynched a black man and stormed William's house. The setbacks were many, as most white folks were unwilling to see the Kalijah black community thrive. William Benson.
Now y'all saying that, right? Now remember, this is a white dude who believe in slavery narrating this. So we don't know how old any of this shit was because they didn't show them building a school. They only showed from they started. They said when they started it, and then they showed the finished product. They never showed when they was building the school. So we don't know how old that school is. You understand what I'm saying? So for him to be able to get all them riches out of slavery, because they said he was getting 60 cents a day, he managed to save $100, and then he went from there. But he already said his father gave him land. This is land that they always had. We don't know how old that school is. You see what I'm saying? Even the building that they showed you of the first school, it looked like it been there for at least 30, 40 years. Cause you could see the weather, the rain and shit that's tearing at the wood of the foundation. You know what I'm saying? You could definitely see the weather damage as a result of it being standing so long. So how was they able to build a school and be able to have trades and have a curriculum that people can learn? So you think this motherfucker learned all this shit after slavery? You AP, I'm talking to you. You
Please leave your message for.
That's
We
all I
probably
want.
stepped off away from the mic.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share that. And like I said, when they show you these videos, you cannot take the person who narrated words, um, you know what I'm saying, verbatim. You have to kind of know that these people are lying about all of this shit. These schools and all these different institutions, they said he went to Fisk, right? Which obviously had to be a black-owned school in Washington, D.C. at that point in time. Then he transferred to Howard. Howard still is a black university, right?
Correct.
But this is before the funding, before you see what the play was. The play was when we build and establish something, right? That some of the Slavs that work for us, they was informants. So they go back and tell the other Slavs, yeah, they all sleep. They all sleep. Come on. And then they're running into our towns.
Oh,
Because a
you
lot of
talking about like W.B. Du Bois, whatever the fuck his name is?
yeah, him, he definitely that's Booker T. Washington. But they already said how Booker T sold the people out.
Wait, hold on, wait. So W. Du Bois was like a alias to Booker T. Washington, or are
Well,
they both
that
together?
was Booker T. Nah, Du Bois, he different. He looked different
Oh,
than Booker T.
okay.
But they said that he came from Tuskegee, right? But then even when you look that up, right? Tuskegee wasn't funded by white people until after the 1900s. So who funded it then? But
Uh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, yeah, Booker T, Washington had that, he had a Muskogee Business League going on at that time. And I mean, come on, man. It's hard to imagine a bunch of slaves at the same time they keep talking about these free Negroes. Well, what are these free Negroes doing? These free
Exactly.
Negroes own businesses. They got school. They got education systems. We had economic structures up and down the United States.
Yep. And
So
they
they
running the
just got it
play.
come lately.
But they running the play. They running the slave story, and then saying even the people who was free event they were slaves at some point in time. When I got documentations of people who was never slaves. See, they using this shit. They when they saying these people came out of slavery because that's the narrative that they want to teach. But then you can't explain how is they able to build all this shit. So through observation, he was able to build this shit. You understand what I'm saying? Or is that a trade that we all had? We all had some form of carpentry.
I was about to go to school for architecture actually not too
I
long
mean,
ago.
if you actually like just try to look up black towns in the 1800s, man, you could find buildings, apartment buildings that were like y'all keep saying, man, there's no way that this stuff hadn't been here this for a very long time, because you can't just come here and because you say, oh, we hit a industrial industry or some shit, we all of a sudden just built up the whole United States. No, man, a lot of this shit been here for a very long time. It's a lot of old structures, a lot of old stone work.
Nah, it's just mines. What you talking about, bro? We came from Africa and they told us to start building shit, so we started building shit. Some way, somehow we did it, bro.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? That don't make those. Why would we build for somebody else? Why would we fight in the war for somebody else as a slave?
And
You
that's
know what I'm
what
saying?
I ain't gonna cap, bro. I be trying to tell my grandma this shit, bro. Like I
Bro,
be
they
like,
running plays on us. They running
I was
play.
my grandma,
My
yeah.
fault. But the whole thing of it is this, brother, right? See, the thing of it is, don't nobody never question the slave narrative. They automatically think that shit sticks until we find out that white people was really slaves over here, right? They got freed after the Civil War. The reason that they was running into our towns was to basically change a lot of these towns from Republican to Democrats, right? And then once they became Democrats, then these people had dominion over the town. Now that would go into the 1900s. When they see that shit wasn't working, then what they did, they brought Martin Luther King in.
And that's what I'm saying. My grandma sitting there. I was there when Martin Luther King. We fought for your rights. I mean, the older generation. So I'm like, you didn't fight for any rights.
They fought.
You was tricked.
Integrated. Yeah, you was tricked.
Exactly.
You was tricked to be integrated in. Once
Exactly.
you get integrated into these people's cities and towns, now they got dominion over you. Now they got jurisdiction over you.
And I be trying to tell it. I be like, Grandma, you didn't fight for no rights. You still black. You ain't got no rights.
But
She
that
like, oh,
ain't just your granny though, man. It's a lot
I
of
know it
people
ain't
who miss.
granny.
A
I
lot
know
of people don't
everybody.
even understand. Even when people saying they got Indian in them, they don't understand that we're not mixed with no other Indian. I had a bill with this brother who me and him been talking for a minute back and forth about history in the gym. Now he just told me his people was Blackfoot and he said Lumbee or I think he said Aniyawiya, right? Now he's a Pan African, right? So he gonna give me the breakdown. Oh, I think we 60% African and 40% Indian. And I'm like, fam, I'm showing you images of Negroes.
A1.
Yeah,
A1.
I
My
mean,
dad did this. I'm trying to tell my dad about, yo, dad, we ain't from Africa. We actually the owners of this. He said, nah, what happened was we came here as slaves and we integrated with the Indians. I'm like,
oh my
no.
God.
I'm like, no, that's not what happened.
Show me most people who claim they got Indian in their family, you only can go back and see mulattoes in your family for the most part. Or white, or you married the white woman, you had a white concubine, right? And as
Both
a
of them.
result of that, a lot of people go back and say, well, my grandmother had straight hair. She was fair skinned. That's because she was half white.
And the
The
thing
other
about
part of no, go ahead.
you right because my grandma and my grandpa on my daddy's side, they both mulattoes. And I asked my grandma, I said, Grandma, you heard anything about us coming from Africa? She said, no. As far as I know, we Cherokee. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I went to go tell my dad that. He said, nah, your grandma might be Cherokee. I said, no, I just talked to your mama. Like my grandma on your side. She said we Cherokee. He's like, oh, I'm gonna have to ask her about that one then. I'm like, bro, like it's
Because
crazy how
remember though,
we are, bro.
remember, brother. See, this is the thing, right? The thing is that we was uneducated, right? So now when you come into education, you think education is right and exact. Nobody never, when anybody going to any of these institutions, they never go in there with the mind state that these people are liars. They never go in there with that mind state.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Then when you give them situations the way you can prove they lying, they still is in denial. Oh, that's that conspiracy talk. Oh, nah, that's a conspiracy theorist. Conspiracy theory. And this is what they do. And our own people, like the brother said earlier, our own people is our problem, because even the ones, whether you lack education or you educated, you become the problem when you go into any of these European brainwashing institutions, and then you come back among the nigga thinking you smarter than everybody else, and as a result of that, you're fucking brainwashed. And then you spewing this back to the people, and the people think because you well read. Just think about how many Pan Africans or how many Negroes, John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Ivan Van Sertima, Sheikh Opta Diop, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, right? All these motherfuckers always present like they so educated, but who was you educated by? The general education system that was ran by Nelson Rockefeller.
Mm-hmm.
Why the Rockefeller names always popping up? Because they are the KKK, and they try to make the KKK like this just some independent military or militia group. No, all these people that's in politicians all got roots back to the KKK, bro.
That's the KKK are basically just the Knights Templar.
Yeah, but they don't need the KKK no more because we acquiesced.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need the KKK no more because the shit that the KKK was doing for them, we do willingly.
Yeah.
So it's like, even like, and I always put myself out there as an example, right? Because when I went to school, right? When I got my degree, right? You know, I took history 101 through 106. I took 6 different history courses, right? And all of these none of these history courses, and one of them just pretty much focused on the Americas, right? They talk about the Aztecs, they talk about the Mayans, they never talk about the Inca, they never talk about the Olmecs. They never talk about none of this shit. They don't talk about none. They never talk about none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? They just give you a crash course on the most. I'm gonna say like the original narrative, man, that they push out here. So that's the problem between us. The problem between us and other people, and a lot of other individuals, that they was educated by these people. They never seen that these people. They think that when you read a book, that everything, all the contents in the book is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
When they be assuming, when you hear people say, I believe, or if you believe something, that means you're not actual, this is not an actual fact. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, so at the end of the day, man, it's like, you know, we got to understand who we are. Peace to the guys, peace to the goddesses in the chat room, man. We definitely got to understand who we are. And like I said, my pet peeve is cross motherfucking reference. Now, I don't want a motherfucker to pull up an article and then read the article verbatim and never never give in the people who he's reading the article the indication that the article may be truthful in certain points. But then it's not truthful because it's coming from the minds of people who was educated through the general education system.
Mm-hmm. It's just a repeated cycle over and over. Because I ain't gonna. When I saw the title, I was like, I gotta hop on this motherfucker because it ain't it a coincidence that Martin Luther King coming around talking about, oh, we need unity, we need this, we need that after our cities and towns were destroyed, bro. Ain't that a coincidence, or am I just tripping? And then also knowing how the US was at the time, the majority population was us. So you got these people trying to make a system and they ain't making no money like we was. So what they gonna do? They gonna fucking put us in that mug. You know what I'm saying? They gonna start getting us to integrate into their systems to start making money for the US corporation. So I was like, damn. But I can't say that because now, now I don't know. Now I'm offending everybody's grandma and grandpa that fought for civil rights. And it's like that's it's crazy how that go.
We have to take this shit a step further. You cannot just say, because a lot of people, what they do is they think the end all be all is their family, right? They think the end all be all is their family. Your family gave you a piece to the puzzle. Grandma did not tell you everything. Grandma told you only what she knew. You got access to more resources than your grandmother have ever had. And it's like people don't use they don't use these resources, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't use these resources. And when everybody think it's all about, oh, my family, my family, my family. Yeah, all right, it is about your family. But understand, your family, for the most part, ain't had none of these practices that they tell you Indians had, except some of the holistic treatments. They mentioned the brother had the largest turpentine distillery in America, right? Now, remember, we use turpentine to clear parasites out of our system. That's what we use turpentine. Besides paint thinner, we use
I
turpentine.
was about to say it's not paint thinner. We actually drunk that shit.
Yeah, we ain't drink it. No. You don't drink it. You take a teaspoon and put it in sugar. And what it does is when the sugar gets into your system, the parasites like sugar. So the parasites go for the sugar, and then when they realize that it's the turpentine, they look for a way to get out.
So you just shit the motherfuckers out there.
But
Oh,
if your digestive tract is not clear, then they gonna go into other parts. They might go into parts of your heart. They might go into parts of your brain. They might go into your skin where you get eczema. So they'll find a place to go to get away from it. You know what I'm saying? Plus they hide up under all of the metal that you consume through like aluminum foil. Aluminum foil is one of the worst things you ever could put on food. Because the food going to absorb the foil. This is the reason why a lot of people got Alzheimer's. Because of the aluminum. You got aluminum in your fucking deodorant. You put the deodorant right under your pores. Your lymph nodes is right up under your underarms.
Yep.
And your lymph nodes, once your lymph nodes get clogged, they form tumors. This is why a lot of women got breast cancer.
I mean, all this shit is strategically designed to break us down and make us run to the medical industry, which
Who created the medical industry? Who created the medical industry?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Let my grandma tell it. You had somebody on the block. She from New Orleans. Well, yeah, she's from Mississippi, but she moved to New Orleans, right? She said, yeah, everywhere I went, they had somebody on the block that had the fig trees, the orange trees, the medicines, the herbs, and all that stuff. And if you feeling bad, you go to that person. Nowadays, you got to go to Walgreens or a pharmacy or a doctor. You know what I'm saying? And they keep feeding you the poison, the bullshit. And it's like, damn. It's like we really came a long way from our godhood. You know what I'm saying? So
the medical system, right? The medical system, right?
All thanks to Martin Luther King, though.
I tell everybody, look, go to London Real. That's LONDON Real, REEL, right? London Real. Go to London Real and search through the archives. The only thing you got to do to get on London Real is put your email through, and that's it, right? After that, you got access to all of the videos that he put on there. There's a movie on there called Plandemic with Dr. Judy Merchovic and a bunch of other doctors and shit talking about this shit, right? But one thing that I found was interesting, right? They talk about the medical industry, right? And they said that people was catching cancer because they was putting petroleum in everything. Now, once petroleum get in your body, it hardens up, and then it forms tumors and forms cysts. And it's hard to get it out. It's hard to get it out. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of time they got to cut certain cancers out of you because you have an inorganic compound in your body that it's no way your body can push it out in most cases. They have to cut this shit out. But the Rockefellers, the people who funded the medical industry. Prior to them funding the medical industry, the way that they was treating majority of the people was through silver. I'm talking about any infection, bacteria, anything dealing with that, we use colloidal silver. Anything dealing with any illness, we use what? Castor oil. Because what do castor oil do? Castor oil give you, it's a laxative. It cleans your digestive tract out, right? It's actually a colon cleanser as well. You understand what I'm saying? So once you understand that, all of these, they invented the school system, they invented the medical system. Then when you go to the other part of the general education system, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the other part of the general education system, it tells you the advancement of black colleges, Negro colleges in the South. That was the fourth point that they was trying to get into and trying to take over. They used Michael King, who took the name Martin Luther from the so-called what the fuck is the guy name?
The Christian guy, the Pope, not the Pope.
He was a Presbyterian or some shit like that. Or whatever. But
Protestant.
A Protestant. Protestants.
I knew that. I was like, Martin Luther, ain't that a Christian name, bro? Like Pope, like Pastor Martin. No, not Pastor. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I figured that shit out. I was like, okay, this is what they do. This is what they do. So when I saw the, like I said, when I saw the title, Agent or Not, I'm like, nah. And it wasn't until Malcolm came around, he started showing him. He's like, oh, hold up now. What have I done? Then next thing you know, whoop, there goes Michael.
Yeah.
Now people say Malcolm was one of them too, but I'm like, I don't believe that because
Malcolm said we was Aboriginals. He never mentioned.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm
saying? People saying that Malcolm was snorting that stuff while getting messing around with the sweet gang. You know what I mean?
That was before he became Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
Before he became Malcolm X, when he was what the fuck is his name? What the fuck they call that nigga? Something Red. Before he became Malcolm X, yes, he was involved in all of that shit. But once he got knowledge of self and understood who he was, that was it from that point. And see, the Nation of Islam could not control him because when he was on go about just making sure that his people was good. The Nation of Islam, they was, how you say, compromised in certain situations. Even when you get to the Nation of Islam, now, like I said, I've learned different philosophies from Elijah Muhammad, the Eat to Live book. Black Man's the God. He's the first one that called us Aborigines, but he was being funded by
being funded by them too.
But hold on, it's a particular person who he was funded by that owned the Kansas City Chiefs. What the fuck is this nigga name? Oh my God, it's gonna come to me in a minute. They used to give him $100,000 every year. What the fuck is this nigga name, man, that owned the Kansas City Chiefs? He was part of the hit on JFK as well. Damn, I can't think of his name. It's gonna come to me in a minute. But he was funding them. You understand what I'm saying? He was funding them.
I know what you're talking about.
You talking about J. Edgar Hoover?
Nah, not J. Edgar Hoover. His name is something. Hold on, it's gonna come to me in a minute, man. Damn, the longer I try to think about it, the longer it's going. What the fuck is his name, man?
We ain't talking about the CIA dude that was working with Bush.
Well, he worked with Bush, yeah, because they was all part of that hit. But his name, I can't think of his name right now, man. Oh my God, what the fuck is this nigga name, bro? He owned the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's probably gonna come back to you.
Yeah.
Somebody could research Kansas City Chiefs.
But he was, I'm sorry, say again.
Somebody said J. Edgar
Nah,
Hoover.
it wasn't J. His name was oh my God, man. Let me look on my phone.
I'm sorry, say again.
They dropped
You talking about H.L. Hunt?
H.L. Hunt. H.L. Hunt. Yes. H.L. Hunt. Yes. H.L. Hunt, nigga. Yes, him. He was part of he was a mafia because even I'll tell you like this, right? you can go back and check out Bishop John Wick, right? What's the name? Gathers, right? Or
Bishop Larry Gathers, yep.
Yes. He just did a bill on a sports industry, right? Not the second one, but the first one he did. And he breaks it down. Now, a lot of this shit I already knew because he was saying how the NFL is fixed, and it's not even a sports league. It's like the WWE, right? He was saying that how Hunt, how he was part of one of the mafias that had something to do, and they saying that he was a Jew. He was because remember the Jews are people who control the Italian mafia. The Italian mafia was only the face of it. The Jewish mafia ran the Italian mafia. You understand what I'm saying? But when it gets down to that, you start understanding like how he breaking it down. It's obvious. And the same thing with our history. Who the people that's pushing our history? You find out the Rockefellers was part of the Knights of the Golden Circle. They was the one that came in there and they said after John Wilkes Booth did whatever he did to Lincoln, if you believe that, right? They said that they hid him and they took him somewhere and gave him a new name. Some people saying that John Wilkes Booth family is the Carnegies.
Only makes sense at that point.
Exactly. They definitely one of the 13 families, bro.
Because they're not about to kill off their own like that. Like they go, you know what I'm saying?
And then what they tell you? They tell you the Rockefellers had something to do, not the Rockefellers, but the Rothschilds. They said the Rothschilds had something to do with so-called 6 U.S. presidents getting killed, and these are all Negroes.
Yep.
They are Negroes.
Yeah, that's why yesterday when bro was talking about them treaties and stuff, I'm like, man, get that shit out of here because we don't care about the treaties. They never honored treaties. We didn't even sign treaties ourselves. It was the Negroes posing that came over here with them that signed them down treaties. And then when they get slapped in they got backstabbed by them. Now look what the mess we in now.
Yeah, but I don't think of this, man. Why would you sign a fucking treaty with foreigners? I don't even buy into the treaty. That's why I don't even buy into them.
We not about to sign no treaties after they didn't. Hold on, like you telling me we gonna sign treaties with people that have been fucking us over for like years now? Like it's just like, oh yeah, you just gonna make up and be friends? Nah, fam. Nah, that ain't happen. But yeah, it's crazy how much involvement and undercover, paperwork has been moved around to make all this stuff happen. So like you saying the sports teams and stuff like that, and it's like, dog, like everything has just been infiltrated. I mean, you right about the NFL being just like the WWE, and people believe that shit hardcore because every time I be watching it, I used to play football too, and I'm watching it, I'm like, bro, that's not a pass interference, bro. He just bumped him, bro. He didn't put his hands on him. Like, it's just something. But when you watch the call like that, oh, go ahead.
About it like this. Can you
Hey,
hear
when
the
you chop,
they got artificial intelligence. I'm choppy.
Yeah, you sound choppy to me. It might just be me.
He come back.
I think that's just me. Okay. Boy.
Damn, trying to hit a dead silence.
I'm over here talking without my shit. Oh, damn.
You was muted that whole time, AP?
Yeah. Muted.
Man,
AP.
y'all niggas slow. Y'all ain't didn't say that, man. I'm
I
mad
was
as hell.
calling you the whole
You was
time,
gone,
bro.
man.
Get on y'all.
I thought you done went and made a sandwich, man. I don't know.
I'm about to. Shit.
I'm sure. You heard me, AP? I wanna
I got you pulled up.
share my screen.
Hey, I don't know what kind of Wi-Fi you on, big bro, but whoo.
Probably me.
In StreamYard. Every time I try to get in StreamYard, I always got this problem. Nigga, I got high speed Verizon and shit. Let me see something. All right, look. So this is an article from it, right? From the page, right? But once again, you gotta kind of keep reiterating this right here, right? It said in the 1920s, the Rockefeller goal to mold you hasn't changed, right? So this kind of breaks down, all of the stuff dealing with the Rockefellers, right? So now look, when you get into the General Education Board right here, right? Right here, you get to the General Education Board right here, right? Listen to this. I'm gonna just make this shit plain and simple. And just remember, anything you learn from any of these websites, you can never read the shit verbatim. You always gotta cross-reference it, okay? So it said, we shall not try to make these people or any of their children into philosophers or men of learning or science, right? We have not to rise up from among them authors, editors, poets, of men of letters. We shall not search for the embryo great artists, planters, musicians, nor shall we cherish even the humbler ambition to rise up from among them lawyers, doctors, preachers, politicians, statesmen. It said, of whom we now have ample supply of. Okay, now look.
I wonder who they talking about.
They talking about us. They don't want none of you niggas to be free thinkers. They don't want none of you niggas to be free thinkers, right?
They don't want us to be thinkers. They want us to be smart again.
Now look, here it go right here, right? Cool. Let me see something. Did it mention? Let me see something. Oh, all right, boom. All right, nah, I couldn't read this part. I ain't read this part right here, right? So it say, in our dreams, we have the limitless resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. The present education conventions made from our minds. Look, made from our minds. What the fuck you think they mean by that? Made from their minds and unhampered by tradition, we work our own goal will upon a grateful and responsive rival folks. Well, let's go back.
A1. I want you. It's funny you say limitless resources and people to yield themselves, because ain't that what the whole birth certificate social thing about too? Looking at us as property.
Bro, this shit stinks to high fucking hell, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? This shit stinks to high fucking hell.
Oh, let me say one thing. Let me say one thing. I'm gonna just put this out there. I know, homie. I forgot who it was. Homie was talking about the Declaration of Independence. They don't even honor their own Declaration of Independence because all the laws and money go over there to fucking Britain.
That's a fact. See?
So I'm just gonna put that right there.
That should say, in our dreams, we have limitless resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility. Now, we know what being docile mean, right? To our molding hands. The present education convention made from our minds. Now, how many motherfuckers you see reading shit and they're confused even with the shit that they teaching? I watched a motherfucker make a whole video with another famous YouTuber, and they're going by dates. Like all this shit happened. I don't even think a lot of these Indian wars happened now.
They did.
I don't even think a lot of these Indian wars happened.
Because if you want to talk about the Indian Wars was nothing but fights with us. It was battles with us. They just putting the Mexican looking Indians, them so-called native Siberian people as those so-called Indians. So yeah, this is their history as well. That's what they
Bro, I
talk
don't
about.
even believe. I don't even believe because listen, bro. When you get into the American Indian Encyclopedia, they said we had a 10,000 year peace treaty amongst each other. So we wasn't warring because we was trading. We was trading. We was trading with everybody.
You right. You right.
Everybody was happy. What reason
You
did you
right.
have to be mad when you had food,
The
you
same thing.
had gold teeth, you had gold chains?
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason for warring? You
The
had
same reason I told
I'm
you.
not sure, but I don't know. I had to say because I think we had conflict with invading entities, invading countries, and maybe everybody was not invading. Maybe we had some people already within the country that wanted to align themselves with Europeans, such. You know what I'm saying?
not
And
even that, because Europeans were
all of
slaves.
it just to make us look like like they tell us,
so
oh, we lived in
so
teepees and we hunted
so
buffalo. So
do you think the
make us look like savages.
the Yamasee War was fake when they fought the Dutch?
Yeah, because think of it like this, right? They tell you that the British gave the Yamasee guns, right? So they tell you so that even when people be talking about Britain, Britain was our allies. Britain ain't never enslaved nobody in the South.
All right, all right, all right, all right. I'm glad you said that. All right, this might be a little off, and this might be a little pseudo. That's what I'm about to say. But I was looking at, I was thinking about that myself because Britain was an alliance, right, with the tribal area, right? And I'm looking at Yamasee, right, and I'm looking at the lettering and the Y, and I know the letter could be changed with a J. And I was just thinking, I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking too much outside the box.
You
But
said the Yamasee Jamaicans, bro.
oh
Brother,
no, Yamasee.
look,
I'm trying to. I think I was making a comparison or some shit. I don't know, man. I was
listen,
looking
listen.
at Yamasee and James, but anyway.
This is what most people would tell you. Most people think white people was in power in Europe, which they wasn't in power, nigga.
Right.
It was Negroes who looked just like us was in power all the way up until when they came up with the European nations. When they came up with the what's the name of what's the conference in Russia? When they taught the Berlin Conference,
Berlin
right?
Conference, yeah.
Okay,
When he went
so
to
you get
Africa and
into the
took all that
Berlin
shit.
Conference. The Berlin Conference was basically they created World War I and II to go into these countries in Europe, right, to push out or take the power from us.
Yep. That's why it confused me on how the hell they ended up going to Africa. Was that World War II or War I? They went to Africa as well. Was that World War One? Yeah.
Well, Leopold was in World War One going to Africa.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, like how the hell did Africa get into a war, the World War, when it's mostly between Europeans? You know what I'm
Bro,
saying?
listen, everybody in Europe 200 years ago was all Negroes, okay? Number one, that we're fighting against Rome. That's who the people who came up with the Council of Nicaea and all of this shit. They basically said, well, we're not gonna practice the universal
Law.
worship of the high of the most high. Which, like I was telling people, like it's dealing with sun worship and shit, right? That's what most of the religions are all dealing with. It all come from the Sumerian tree of life, right? Now check this out. So in Rome, from Germany all the way to fucking Rome, it wasn't nothing but Negroes. They tell you the story about them kicking the Moors out. You think white people rose up and kicked the Moors out? No, it was other Negroes who converted into Catholicism. They got us thinking that, oh, the Moors left from North Africa and then went into Spain and Portugal and took over white people. No, it wasn't nobody there. Wasn't nobody there. And the Moors who you claim is from North Africa came from the Americas. So it's like, so they want you to believe, okay, they come there in 7-Eleven, take over, right? They come over in 7-Eleven, they take over Spain and Portugal. I'm only gonna keep it at Spain and Portugal because this is what most people think Moors was all over Europe. What no white people in power. So you think Spain and Portugal was ran by Moors, right? Black people, and all the other countries ran by white people? No. You motherfucking idiot. No. So the people, when they, because everybody got this thing out for Moors, right? The Moors you're talking about are Moriscos who converted into Catholicism. But guess what? They're no different from you motherfuckers today who practice Christianity. They're no different from them.
Get them. Get them.
So when you get into the Nino Indio, which I don't give a fuck how many documents got Indian on it. I don't use it because I know Indian only gonna put me right back into the doctrine of discovery. Nino Indio, children of God. Put the word together, it comes to Indio, then it becomes the India, then it becomes the Indian. But see, the thing of it is, most people haven't researched none of this shit. People be talking upon shit that they don't have no knowledge of. That's the reason why.
Niggas like not a coincidence and shit.
Bro, that's the reason why a lot of times when I be on these panels, you hear me cutting motherfuckers off because how you going to speak on something that you don't even know what you speaking on because you heard something from some. Did you take any time and do any research into this? No, you heard this from other people. Rumors, niggas still doing the rumor shit. Oh, I heard the Moors are the people who came here and did what they did. Oh, I heard the Moors are the people.
It's always I heard. It's always I heard.
It ain't nothing
but, from the Christians.
It ain't nothing but rumors though. It's rumors because people don't have the knowledge. And then when you got somebody who do know about the history, motherfuckers still sit me down in the corner like they teaching me shit. And you don't even know what I'm gonna say because you don't even understand it. So when I put it in perspective and give people the perspective, you just want people to believe what you want. No, I'm definitely not gonna believe what you saying. But what you all over the place. 2-3 years ago, it was about white people coming here doing what they did to us. Now everybody know it was black Europeans. Right now everybody say black Europeans. Only because niggas like me start talking about black slave owners and start talking about the Moors, and the Moors is black in Europe the whole motherfucking time. And then white people were slaves. That made a lot of people change their perspective on how they teach this shit. People was not talking about. People were saying white people came here and conquered our land. When white people came over here and they really had the shackles on. The ones that wasn't bought from Central America, because a lot of the Europeans was created on this landmass. It was created right here in America, bro.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Little cabbage patches, bro. Hey, bro, I'm telling you,
we took them over there.
AP dropped that, bro. I was lost at it. I said, "Oh shit."
So I got a question. So I was trying to, because I pay attention to words and names of different locations, and I've been kind of looking into Russia lately as well. And I'm noticing how Russia had a lot of black generals leading their military forces in certain areas throughout Russia or throughout historical time. Now I've been to Germany myself, and I've been to one of the oldest churches built in a place called Wiesbaden, right? And I've seen they got a book in there. You can see inside the book, you see black people fighting over a kingdom or over a castle or whatnot, right? So I'm looking at like Moscow, Russia. Now, is it just me, or does Moscow sound a little like Muskogee?
That's what the brother Dr. Lago talk about. He talk about Moscow come from Muskogee. But you see, Muskogee will be a conglomerate of different nations. The Cherokee are Muskogee, the Timucua are Muskogee, the Yamasee are Muskogee.
Right, correct.
All of these are Muskogees. But see, all of these motherfuckers are Muskogee. And see, the thing about it is this, right? Everybody, and then you got some of these niggas out here who will say, all right, well, boom, let's go to South Carolina. So you got the Gawler, right? But then right from the Gawler, a block over, they spoke a different language than the people who was in the Gawler. It's just ridiculous. We could not speak differently. We had to speak one universal fucking language.
That's where the story Tower Bible come from. Come from over here. Ever since y'all talked about that stuff on them tablets, bro, it really opened up that a lot of the stuff in the Bible happened over here. You know what I'm saying? So
everything in the Bible happened here.
All them
So
boys did it. They took our information and took it over there and retold it to their people and used different names.
Hey, Darvish.
Yeah.
it's like
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask Darvish a question real quick, right? Hey, Darvish.
What that, okay?
Real talk. Sometime when we be on some of these platforms, right? When we be on some of these platforms, right? People don't have the gift of discernment, right? And plus they not cross-referencing. You think you could just Google something and pull up one article and copy and paste that shit, and then you read you try to teach me some of that shit, and I'm rejecting it because I know that you got this shit from the general education script right here. In
Exactly.
our dreams, we have limitless resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. So what are they molding? They molding the way you fucking think. You are a fucking cyborg.
And can't listen to no matter
oh,
how hard you try
that
to explain it, you can bring source after source, they're gonna reject it. You can even show them where Google get their information. You can show them that that's just a search engine. And certain people allow them based on the algorithm, their information go up when you type some kind of keyword in.
They
And they
telling
don't
you
really cross reference that with
they
nobody.
don't cross-reference nothing because they don't. Because you know
A1.
why? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
A1, you make a really good point about that molding the mind, bro. Freaking, I put it all together. That whole molding the mind thing. That's the MK Ultra that everybody was, talking about. Oh, see, I got this. No, the MK Ultra comes from your childhood traumas and the education indoctrination to make you think a certain way, and then you go out in everyday life and you get them triggers that remind you of your childhood traumas,
A
make
lot of
you
the
revert
trauma,
back to
a
that
lot of the trauma
space.
you got,
You
right?
know what I'm saying?
Remember this too, bro. A lot of the trauma you
Mhm.
got is I'm sorry, is compartmentalized in your brain. So you store away the trauma, right? You store the trauma away because you don't want to readdress the trauma because it gets you emotional. It brings back feelings of things of pain and things that you done been through that you don't want to relive. So what we do, we compartmentalize. That's why they were saying with MK Ultra, they make a person have 3 or 4 different personalities. This is what they was doing.
Yeah.
Even when you get the Kathy
Yeah.
O'Brien, you get the Kathy O'Brien, you get the Bryce, what the fuck is her name? Bryce, oh man, I can't think of her name. You get to the other woman that wrote the book, thanks for the memories, right? The one that said she was an agent for what the fuck is this nigga name? Henry Kissinger. She was a spy and all this other shit, and they was doing all this other sex magic on them, and they was compartmentalizing people's minds through trauma. So our minds
And
is
that's the thing. Like, because and that's the thing. It's like they want us to believe MK Ultra like this crazy ass hypnotism and shit like that. No, it's a different level of it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, what it say, the present education conventions made from our minds, nigga. Our minds. You understand? So a lot of stuff that people references out here, they getting it from them. That's why I deal with the mystics. I dealt like, man, listen, man, shout out to Asir, man. Shout out to Aleem. Shout out to Yafa. Shout out to Taj. These people build different perspectives because they already know that the whole system is fucking contaminated. So you can't, it's no nice way to go about learning this history. You have to hear other philosophies from other people who are more educated than anything that you think, that bring up some of these different perspectives. So when this shit shows its ugly face, you'll know how to address it. You can't address it like this. I've been knew it was white slaves. I've been knew it was white slaves. I've been knew it was black slave owners. When I'm hearing motherfuckers sit up there and say, "Oh, the white man came here and caught," no, the white man was a fucking slave, motherfucker.
It was a peasant.
And some people are saying that when you talk about the black pope, he's still a Negro. He's a Moor. They show you the black pope. They show you
Where
one
else
of the
they gonna
black.
get all the mysticism from? all the old Egyptian mysticism. Where else they gonna get it from?
Why don't he still got a Moorish coat of arm over his head? Like when you look at his address, and he got a Moorish coat of arm, nigga, with a fucking a crown on.
The question is, what was the first white pope?
Damn.
That's contemporary. All the motherfuckers are black.
All of them. That's
all
fact.
of them.
The people they showing you are decoys. It's our own people who running all of this shit behind the scenes, bro. And they put
get
these.
us, man. They throw these pictures up on YouTube. Not just YouTube. They throw it up on Google. When you go search these people's name, they throw these paintings up there. Or these they don't look nothing like the people.
And even when you get into here, with Andrew Jackson was black. Thomas Jefferson was black. The reason why you see
Jefferson Davis,
even all of them.
Fuck all that. Jefferson Davis was black.
Even when you get to
so we got a black president in the South and a black president in the North. Who are they trying to free?
Exactly. They weren't trying to free nobody.
Nobody.
They just was trying to stop. They was trying to stop. Basically, they was trying to stop the economics, brother.
Trying to get us to run our money back through the North.
Exactly.
And my thing about it is, like when I think about, I don't even think. So they say, oh, they came from over there. To be honest with you, I feel like we said, like, what I think what happened was that we started creating the U.S. and then next thing you know, it gets
hijacked.
We created our own corporation.
Vendors in the North, and what they did is they sent in a wicked ass spy, double agent. They call her 007 Harriet Tubman. And she was taking these good engineers and ushering them up to Philadelphia, bro.
And that's when that's when the railroad came around too.
Why look at what the United States government
I ain't
did.
tell no lie. I don't believe nothing about that bitch there, man. I ain't mean to call no bitch. Don't get me wrong. I don't think.
But look at the story though, Darvish. At the end,
yeah,
at the end,
but who collected money on the story though?
No. But listen, what I'm saying. Listen, what I'm saying.
Right.
At the end of how Harriet Tubman did all of that, the United States government made her some type of fucking captain or some type of fucking sergeant or general over the armed military. Why would they do that?
Why wouldn't they charge him with treason? When she worked, they both know she worked with both sides supposedly.
Dane Calloway said Harriet wasn't even a she. That's the funny part about it.
I mean, hey, you know what? I'm just saying, just for the same thing. Look, the same thing with what's the name with Nat Turner. Listen, look, check this out. I'm gonna break this shit down real quick, right? Judah Benjamin, right? He was a mulatto that was in the South, right? Judah Benjamin was an agent. He was an agent of the Catholics, right? So he was getting briefs from the Rothschilds, right? He was funded by the Rothschild. Now his thing was to be an insurgent, to create havoc within the organization already, right? So what he did, he paid Nat Turner to go to Virginia to kill black slave owners, motherfucker, because he was in Southampton. We get showed the book showing you. Look, we can go back here. Check this out.
And we already know that the slave owners were black and the slaves was white. So just man,
listen, this shit stinks to high hell, nigga. When you really understand what was going on, you understand what I'm saying?
All ass backwards.
Everything is backwards. Nat Turner was a motherfucking agent, nigga. He was a goddamn
other niggas, the free white slaves.
He was a hitman of some of the big dogs in the area,
bro. And look, what's the name? Bishop John Wick brought that out, and then I just start cross-referencing it with stuff that I already had. Like, wait a minute, man. We already know in Virginia was black slave owners. They'll tell you, oh, Anthony Johnson, or after Anthony Johnson, there was no, man, get the fuck out of here. If Anthony Johnson was free and he was the first so-called slave that you brought here, he wasn't a fucking slave, and you're lying and you're creating a fucking narrative to confuse us. Period. So, where we at? Virginia, real quick. Let me go to Virginia real quick, right? All right, we in Virginia right here, right? So let me blow it up. So this is the Negro slave owners, right? Shout out to
Damn.
Right? Look,
Hold up.
the
They
Negro
got a
slave on
whole
all
this whole page.
the
The Negro
whole
slave
book.
owner.
They got a whole book, bro.
Damn.
It's fuck a page. The whole book. No. We only in Virginia.
It's a whole
We only in
book.
Virginia. Look. We only in Virginia. Look. We only in Virginia, right? So look, let's go to Southampton County, right? Let's find Southampton. And even Nottoway County, right? Nottawa is the name of a tribe, right? That's the name of a tribe in Virginia, right? So we go down. Let's
A lot of them.
all right. So Southampton right here, right? So in Southampton, they're gonna tell you it was 2 so-called black slave owners, right? But these other towns that's around Southampton is now Southampton. They just spread it Southampton out. Spotsylvania County. This is now Southampton, right? Shenandoah County. This is all Southampton, right? All of these so-called counties that was around Southampton is now Southampton. Now, look at all these Negro slave owners just in Virginia alone. Now, look, we only in Virginia. This one page. They go 2 pages. Look, Powhatan County. Look, Powhatan County. You got black slave owners in Powhatan County. Like, are you serious?
Remember,
like,
and them just the people that paid taxes for this slave.
I don't even
a lot
think
of them they reported it.
But I don't even think that it was even that. I think that these are people, we had the system, we recorded the system. That's why a lot of time when you do your genealogy, you can't do your genealogy from no motherfucking database. You gotta go to actual.
You gotta go find. You gotta go home.
Exactly, and that's why I say, like, look. To do your own genealogy might take you years to do. Not less if you doing 10 other people genealogy, nigga. You know how long that shit would take? You know how long that shit would take, bro? That means your whole day will be occupied with just doing that. Until you find traces of people, and then you have to go back to all of these Hall of Records, right? That's in all of these counties.
Exactly.
You just can't go on no what's the name website or whatever. And then some of these counties got web databases that they gotta let you into. You just can't go on a database and they gonna let you into, because some of them files are private. So even when they get to that, but check this out, right? So we still in Virginia, right? So all these black slave owners in Virginia, right? So Nat Turner went there to go kill some white slave owners. Serious? It doesn't make no sense. Look, still in Virginia. These are whole pages. Look, these are whole pages of Negroes. Look, still in Virginia, right? We still in Virginia, nigga. Look. Still in Virginia. And even when we go to Maryland, right? Let's go to Maryland, because remember, Maryland or Maryland was part of Virginia too, right? And look, even in South Carolina, right? Remember, all the slaves was in, they white people own people in South Carolina, right? Look how many pages it is of South Carolina. Look. Now, North Carolina and South Carolina was the same. It was the Carolinas. It wasn't just no North. North and South are directions. You understand what I'm saying? So, look at we get to North Carolina, right? Look how many pages it is in North Carolina, or all these black slave owners in the 1830s. Look. Still going. Still in North Carolina, right? Still in North Carolina. Now we go to South Carolina, right? So between North Carolina and South Carolina combined, look how many pages they got. Go ahead, look. Look how many pages it is. So all these black people was free, and all these black people owned slaves in South Carolina? Are you serious? Still going, right? We still in South Carolina. South still here, right? Now we get to Tennessee. I'm looking. I just want to see Maryland real quick before I go back out. So all right, so we're in Maryland right here, right? Look how many pages it is for Maryland, right? Just one page. Look, Maryland. Maryland continued, still going, right? Maryland again, right? Oh, still going. We still in Maryland, right? Remember, Maryland ain't nothing but part of Virginia. The same thing with DC. All of that shit was Virginia. And all the way into the Carolinas. So all these black people own all these slaves, right? And then in certain places they was fucking black people around. And all of these black people who own slaves, all these slaves are black people. Ain't none of these slaves white people.
Not a coincidence would say no, it ain't. No.
Listen, my dude, the gig is motherfucking up. Cause even in states like Tennessee, right? Look, we go to Tennessee. Let's go to Tennessee real quick. Tennessee, right here at the bottom, right here, right? Look, Tennessee continue, right? So in Tennessee, you had black.
Go
Now
back
they
up
went
to
back.
Knox
Oh, no, it's the
County.
beginning of
Go back
Virginia.
up to Knox County. Let's see what Knox County got. Let's see.
Now you from Tennessee, right? Is
Yeah.
Humphreys County still existing?
Yep, Humphreys County. Yep.
Lincoln County,
Yeah, Lincoln County.
Maury County.
Yep. I'm from Knoxville. My shit right there on the map too. That's
Shit
crazy.
right here. Right here.
Yep.
Shit right here. So, like I said, man. Like I said, we go back here again. Boom. And remember this when people come up here with the bullshit. In our dreams, we have limitless resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility. That means that you're a perfect idiot or you're a perfect person who could be molded, right? It's saying to our molding hands, right? The present education system, right? Made from our minds. Nigga, what do you mean the education system is made from their minds? It's so funny that all of the books come from one of the 13 families. The Carnegies, all of the books that's being printed, I forgot the name of the book company that they use to print a lot of these books now, right? All of them are under the 13 family, motherfucker. All of them. All of them. All of them. You go to channel 13. I don't know if y'all got channel 13 in y'all state or whatever. It tells you that even when you get to that, oh, the Carnegies, this is a program brought to you by the Carnegie Foundation. A program brought to you by the Carnegie Foundation, right? Right?
That's crazy. Hey man, we got 339 in the chat still, man. Give a big salute, man. We got 340 in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Hit that like button, man. Can we get a few people to hit that like button as you come in? Support the channel, man. A1 going in today. He
And
going
this
in
is
right now. This
look,
lightweight.
yeah, this some, it's some lightweight shit, man. Like we ain't really doing nothing, man. And like I said, man, when we just played the video, right? We just played the video, right? Boom. And I like to do this. I like to kind of keep reiterating this, the inventions, because the inventions is key, nigga. Look, all these inventions we created, all of them. And these niggas that had you believe you invented this for a white man. All these inventions. Shit go on and on and on. And like I said, All these inventions and shit that people need for daily, for you know what I'm saying? They need these inventions daily, right? And then you go here. So no, that ain't them. It's this one. It's this one right here. So when you go here, right? Look, the cell phone. Hold up, no, it's on the other side. Oh, here you go, right here. The cellular phone, right? By Henry T. Sampson, right? So all these inventions, right? Baby strollers, right? Heating
Everybody,
furnaces.
everybody love folding chairs. You see them at area establishments, get together, gathering, folding chairs. Everybody love them.
The furnace, nigga. You wouldn't have no heat if it wasn't for Alice H. Parker.
Elevators. Nobody like the stairs neither, nigga. Nobody like
Nobody liked the stairs at all, right? Roller coasters, nigga. Didn't they tell you at these world fairs there was roller coasters and fucking what's the other shit? Not the Ferris wheels?
damn a pacemaker. You know what I'm saying? Make sure grandma and grandpa stay around a little longer. You know what I'm saying? Nobody love grandma more than niggas do.
So we invented the cellular phone and we invented the regular phone system, right? But see, these niggas think that your feeble-minded ass couldn't invent this for your own self. You had the white man who was a slave, right? Had to come along and teach you how to build this for them. That's why I say, man, it's just like at this point in time, man, at the end of the day, it's the gig is up. The auto air brake, right? But then we go to the top right here. What else did we invent? The fucking motor. The motor. When they talk about C.R. Patterson, they said C.R. Patterson made the buggies first, right? And then he started putting engines in the buggies making cars. You think he learned that from a white man? Everything. Every fucking thing. The automatic gear shift. So we got the automatic gear shift, right? We got the motor, right? We got the goddamn air brake. Oh, two-cycle gas engines. Look, two-cycle gas engines. I know somewhere that this plays in with the car, right? The internal combustion engine, nigga.
Then
Look,
he got a hydraulic shock absorber. That's a whole car to give you a diaphragm, nigga.
you see what I'm saying? Like, look, man, I don't even know why we even entertain niggas like Rob, man. I hope you looking, Rob. I hope you see all of this shit. And he still don't get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, even when you get here, the refrigerator, stair climbing wheelchairs. Huh?
Telephone transmitter.
And then look, AP. Remember we talked the helicopter. The helicopter. But then when you go on this side, the air blimp. So all these inventions, none of the inventions we built for us, we built this for the white man, right? So the traffic signal, right? We invented that for the white man, right? The elevator, we invented that for the white man, right? And we know when we get up here, right? The typewriter. Nigga, you wouldn't have a computer if it wasn't for a typewriter. Lotion and soap for the ashy ass Africans.
Radiation detectors. That's crazy.
Lotion and soap for some of these ashy Africans, right? Peace to my good Africans, though. It's just a jokey joke, right? Now they try to tell you up here, right? Look, the alphabet, right? They try to tell you the alphabet was made. The people who made the alphabet was the Phoenicians, right? They don't say the Phoenicians was from Africa, right? Chess, right? They tell you the Moors responsible for chess, right? Paper. When did Africans create paper? Because check this out. We can go here. Look.
Man, I need that source right there. I need that list of black inventors, bro. I need that.
Oh, I got you, brother. I mean, you know how we do. Look, we even made the motherfucking press, the No, it's on the other page, on this page right here. Look, the photograph print wash. Look, photographic print wash. Remember how they used to take photographs and they got to put it in the water to they got to put it in that liquid so you can y'all understand what I mean. You're gonna see the photo press. I mean the what's the name press machine that people use for books. But shit go on and on and on and on and on, man. Boots and shoes. So your ashy ass toes won't be showing. That's a gridiron. I don't know, is that football or is that another terminology? Kitchen tables, gas burners, right? Lawnmowers, bike frames, swinging chairs, eye protectors, right? So you invented all this shit for white people, right? You hot ass niggas down south, air conditioning units, right? Yeah, 2-cycle engine again. Look, AP, look. See this?
Printing press, right?
So how was they writing books prior to the printing press? So if we invented the printing press, we had to invent the first newspaper. You see what I'm saying? And all they did was take this shit, right? All they did was take it. Once again, typewriter machines. Do you know how crucial this is? I had a typewriter in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I can remember in school before computers even became popular, even though that they had computers in the early 90s or the late 80s, but they didn't have computers like they did now, right? And the computers was pretty much um it was pretty much like a fucking typewriter, but it just was on the screen, right? They didn't have a lot of these programs that they got now, right? But this should go on and on and on, bro. It just go on and on and on
I
and
ain't gonna
on.
lie, this is a dope ass bill, man. So shit, I guess I'm about to end it, man. We've been going for 3 hours, man. This was a good one. What's better to end it than just showing you some of your ancestors and some of the Negro Aboriginal invention and innovations? You feel what I'm saying?
Along with the video that we just showed, showing you that Negroes built schools. So, once again, I'm gonna end it like this. Remember this, and remember this good, right? This is coming from Frederick T. Gates and the Rockefellers, right? Frederick T. Gates, we know who Frederick T. Gates is. That's what's your name? Gates, Bill Gates, ancestor, right? In our dreams, we have limited resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. The present education convention, made from our minds and unhampered by tradition, we work our own goodwill upon a grateful and responsive rival folks. Now, you know what they call folks. You already know they talking about us, right? We shall not try to make any of their children into philosophers or men of learning or of science, nigga. It's too late for that because you got AP out here, the anthropologists and the rest of the brothers out here who dealing with science, right? It's too late for that, right? We have not to rise from them, among them authors, editors, poets, or men of letters. We shall not search for the embryo, right? Great artists, painters, musicians, nor shall we cherish even the humbler ambition to rise up from among them lawyers, doctors, preachers, politicians, salesmen, of whom we now have ample supply. The task we set before ourselves is very simple, as well as a very beautiful one, to train these people as we find them to a perfect, ideal life just where they are. Peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses, man. It's your brother Hanu Kiel.
Shout out to Hanu, shout out to Darvis Black, Darvis Baylock, shout out to Truthful, and my big brother Hawk School on this thing, man. This was a dope build. I really enjoyed this. Hopefully you brothers can enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure y'all be safe, be aware, stay vigilant, stay dangerous. It's your brother Aboriginal Power, and we out. Peace.
See my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back. Got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how